Brewers have proven they are good enough to compete with anybody.
Mr. Irrelevant with Alex Strofe. Live on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Also available on the ESPN Wisconsin app and wherever you get your podcasts.
Looking to join an international quality golf club right here in Madison? Discover TPC Wisconsin, an instant classic in the heart of the Midwest. With a course co-designed by Steve Stricker and PGA Tour Designs, it's the 13th and newest TPC Network golf club in the world. Other high-quality amenities include a short game practice area, athletic performance center, and meeting and dining facilities, plus membership benefits that reach around the globe. Schedule a tour at tpcwisconsin.com and start your journey to a lifetime of priceless golf.
You're listening to 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Everybody's ego takes a shot on this show.
You gotta keep your chill with Jim, Matt, and Molly.
I am savage.
So you're not special.
Jim, if we want to play this game, we can play this game.
And I'm just like, oh my God, this guy's going to swing on Jim. He's a complicated fellow. Oh.
People like me.
I don't think so.
This is Jim, Matt, and Molly on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Madison on YouTube.
We're learning a lot about each other.
I don't even know what Caleb Durbin looks like.
1-1. Durbin, a high fly to left. It is way back and gone. Durbin almost out onto Waveland.
So the nickname doesn't really fit. You want to hear it? The Durbinator.
Nice.
According to the Milwaukee Brewers.
Caleb Durbin exits stage left. That was a bomb.
And the Durbinator!
And the Let's Go Brewers chants raining down at Wrigley Field.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio in downtown Madison. Alongside Molly Brown, here's Jim Rutledge.
It is Jim, Matt, and Molly. We are presented by Coors Light. If the mountains are blue, you know what to do.
And that's Crush a Coors Light.
Ooh.
Oh, God.
Something new since you guys left.
Get that out. That's not part of Jesse Nelson's not part of the show. I don't want the Pillsbury Doughboy on the show or in the open. That's the sound. That's the sound the Pillsbury Doughboy makes when you poke it in the stomach.
When you what?
Look up the
Wow.
Holy cow. He came back hot.
No kidding.
No, look up the commercial. Woo-hoo. Like, you poke it in the belly, and it goes, woo-hoo. Or Winnie the Pooh. I think it's Pillsbury Doughboy.
I prefer Winnie the Pooh.
But
I think Jesse gives up Winnie the Pooh vibes.
He does. He's always got honey, and he's always sticky. If he hands you a piece of paper,
I don't know if Jesse's sticky. I'm not commenting on his stickiness.
Molly, good to be back. She's Molly Brown.
Say.
I'm Jim Rutledge. I'm in the Everlight Solar Studio. We are presented by Coors Light.
And you heard none of that because Primetime just dumped the entire first 5 minutes of the show.
Primetime Wollersheim behind the glass. Can you do me a favor, though? And I don't have the talk and text line in front of me. I left my laptop. Look, it's been a bit since I'm back on the show. I don't have my laptop
Wait,
in front of me.
you forgot your laptop? I forgot my laptop at home this morning.
I left my laptop.
You guys are in mid-season form right now.
But
bad.
Chime in. I believe, and maybe you can look it up on YouTube. I believe the Pillsbury Doughboy goes hoo-hoo when you poke him in the stomach. Do you know who the Pillsbury Doughboy is?
Yeah. Yes.
All right.
Biscuits.
It's different than the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
He made a cameo in Ghostbusters, right?
No, that's the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. If I had called Jesse Nelson the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, that would have been unnecessary and mean because the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man does not go hoo-hoo when you poke him in the belly.
Now I'm looking up the Stay Puft Marshmallow. Okay.
The Pillsbury Doughboy says "hoo" when you poke him in the stomach.
So the Pillsbury Doughboy is cute. So therefore, Jesse Nelson is cute too.
Damn hot. I mean, in like a pug sort of way, you know.
Okay.
I'm leaning out of this conversation. I'm sorry I played the sound. I apologize to Jesse.
Are you scared of Jesse Nelson, Ryan?
No, I feel bad. I feel bad that it led to this conversation.
Jesse has no power over you.
I thought it would make you happy, Jim.
Why would that make me happy?
I thought it would make you laugh.
No, it denigrates the quality.
Probably not because we've seen it 50,000 times in our group chat in the last 5 days.
But isn't it endearing of what Brewers fans are like? How excited we all are?
It denigrates the quality of the show. But
raise your hand if you want Jesse Nelson to be a part of the show.
Not Jesse Nelson, but the sound. I think it's the sound.
Jesse Nelson.
Crowdsource who fills in. Now, thankfully, I don't think Molly and I are going to be on separate vacations at the exact same time anytime soon.
Thank you for clarifying.
Yes, it's worth clarifying. Sans wedding ring back, Molly Brown, but
Yeah. No wedding ring today. Forgot it on the dresser.
her dresser. Sorry, I'll stop. It's just too funny. All right. But the Brewers, they beat the hell out of the Cubs today, 7-0. And I think for all intents and purposes, that ends the division. In all seriousness, that puts the Cubs 9 games back. I know that David Kaplan on with the folks on Saturday, Pablo Iglesias and Corey Sparks on the Saturday Swing. David Kaplan Scramble. That was close enough. I'm glad I got their names right.
They're both golf related, yeah.
I kind of like the Saturday Swing. Might mean something.
Might be time to rebrand.
Molly.
Goodness.
No.
What is going on today?
Matt's gone and we've all gone off the rails already. But Saturday Scramble with those two. David Kaplan said what? The Cubs have to win 11 against the Brewers over these 5 games.
Would you like to hear from him?
Yeah, let's hear it.
How many games would the Brewers need to win to put this thing out of reach with the deficit at 9 games already?
5-game series, Cubs need to win 11 for me to have any chance of feeling good.
That's good.
No, this division race is over. Over. It is. It's just a fact. They are no chance going to win the division. And if you had told me that in June when we were 6.5 up, that not only would they not win the division, but on August 16th, I'd be telling you they're done. It's over. They're getting blown off the face of the earth. I would never have believed it.
And for some extra context, that was August 16th, 2 days ago. The Brewers are now, once again, 9 games ahead of the Cubs.
Yeah, the Brewers are winning the division. I said this when I joined Jesse and Pablo on Thursday, and it's really out of the question. This season would be, I have this in my notes here too, but I believe an abject disaster if they lost the division, which isn't going to happen. And then I would say it is a failure if they don't win a series in the playoffs. It's disappointing if they don't make the NLCS, and it's a letdown if they don't make the World Series. That's kind of where I have the Milwaukee Brewers at right now. And the division is theirs, though. And the Cubs had to win 5. You can try to sell yourself otherwise, or I think my brother, who's a Brewers fan, was trying to spin this to get me to care about this series. And I was telling him, look, it's over. The only chance this is not over is if the Cubs had won 5 games in a row and then put some pressure on a young Brewers team that hasn't faced pressure in a while. That's out the window.
Right.
And so the Cubs are, at this point, I agree with David Kaplan. They're cooked. They're not going anywhere. Me as a Cubs fan, I am a Cubs fan, not a baseball fan. So outside of work purposes following the Brewers, I've checked out on the baseball season. They're not going to do anything. They're not going to make a playoff run. They are, at best, to be like the Eagles of 2 years ago, where it's all right, you made the playoffs, then you lose right away. And, they're done. Mm-hmm. It's over. I'll blame it on the trade deadline. The team didn't see a manager or a GM and Jed Hoyer that believed in them. The Cubs just didn't do anything. And that's that. And they're flat. It's over. It's done. Hopefully they can hold on for, best case scenario, the top wild card spot. And they can give themselves a chance to at least get into the actual playoffs and win the wild card game and then move forward. But for all intents and purposes, the Cubs season's over and the division is the Brewers. That was basically fait accompli before today's game, but after today's game, it's 100% the case. So that part, for me, is kind of just settled. There's no rivalry here. I'm not upset. It's over. The Brewers won the division. Good for them. Hat tip.
It's not your fault.
And it is what it is.
It's football season for you?
Now, it is. The thing that I don't understand, and you can chime in on this, 844-770-3776, Carl's Talking text line. This is more. I don't understand why Brewers fans aren't over Craig Counsell. Pat Murphy is winning. Pat Murphy is a good manager. He'll probably win NL Manager of the Year for the 2nd year in a row. Your team is winning. Why are you so obsessed with, and it's not just this series. So don't give me any of that crap. I was getting Daniel Landscaper and other people are all over socials being crapping all over the Cubs, and even when the Brewers aren't playing the Cubs, just it's
you can tell
over.
Rutledge that.
Most Cubs fans are just this thing is done, and I don't understand why Brewers fans just can't let Craig Counsell go. They're like the person who broke up with their ex and they can't I don't even care. I'm so over them, but then is constantly checking their Instagram and then commenting to people about their Instagram. If you're over Craig Counsell, then be over Craig Counsell. And the biggest case for this, and I believe Mr. Irrelevant had something to say about this, is this Brewers fans' obsession of trying to anoint Pat Murphy as the number one reason why the Brewers are successful. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ryan and Molly. The Brewers consistently won the division and made the playoffs under Craig Counsell, correct?
Yep.
So, yes, they're winning a lot of games right now, but for Brewers, it's what happens in the playoffs. Like, if Pat Murphy wins one playoff series and loses, it's kind of Craig Counsell. For me, baseball, and not just me, if you ask ChatGPT, if you look into baseball analytics, it's a -2 WAR to a +2 WAR for a manager. Like, if you're trying to attribute success to a manager in baseball, you just don't fully get baseball outside of like a few wins. They're not dramatically changing everything. Anyone that follows baseball will tell you a manager is not accounting for 10 wins or something. It's 4. We'll give them 4.
Okay.
Pat Murphy, the last 2 years, I would say, has accounted for 8 wins over the average manager. I'm going to give him the -2, including the +2. So, like, I'll give him the maximum amount I think I could give a manager. 8 wins over 2 years. So, he's not the reason why. He's not the number one reason why this team is great.
Would you like to hear a differing point from Mr. Irrelevant, who mentioned this before?
I think you kind of negated the point from Mr. Irrelevant.
How did I negate it?
His name is Mr. Irrelevant.
Oh, wow. Okay.
No idea.
Well, let's
Irrelevant. The difference between the Packers and Brewers youth movement is I think one has a better coach, and that's the Milwaukee Brewers. I use this analogy, but you know, like when your friend is dating somebody, and then they break up, and then they're dating somebody new, and you go, "Whew, that's a downgrade," right? I feel like that's how the people viewed the Brewers last year. They go from this former player, great manager, smart
local guy,
right? Like he checks all the boxes of like a dream manager. But then the new manager is like he's like this overweight guy who pulls out pocket snacks and kind of has a weird sense of humor and has coaching baseball for dummies sitting on his desk. And I think prior to last season, a lot of people went, "Whew, that's a downgrade." And all of a sudden, a year and a half later, we're like, "Oh my God, the Brewers found their dream man. They found the cover of GQ model."
Tell me you don't understand anything about baseball without telling me you don't understand anything about baseball.
How so, though? Because I don't really disagree with what he just said. Like, I think he was more so talking about the expectations that fans had once you lose a great manager like Craig Counsell, and then you're like, oh, God, what do we have in Murphy? And then it's like he showed it.
But to my point, that is fair, but according to baseball, the easily tracked sport, a bad manager would cost you 2 wins. A good manager gives you 2 wins.
And that's according to ChatGPT.
No, that's according to, like, you look it up, like, anyone that writes about baseball,
Ryan.
there is. Like, universally believed, if you're accounting for WAR, it's -2 to +2 for WAR for a manager.
I mean, seriously, like, I have not seen these stats. I have not seen the ChatGPT. I have not seen any of it.
ChatGPT is just one of them, but I've looked multiple places.
I think, no, I'm just kind of cracking a joke. But I just think when you watch baseball, what does a manager do? And I'm not saying that Pat Murphy doesn't do anything. I'm not saying that. But, like, it's not like he's out there calling plays. Mm-hmm. He's making the lineup? He's switching the pitchers when necessary?
Well, if you ask Brewer fans, he's making everyone friends. They're all making friendship bracelets and holding hands, singing Kumbaya.
Maybe that is important. Maybe it is important to have that camaraderie and the chemistry and all that.
But it still doesn't account for a lot of wins.
Yeah, it's not. He's not going to win games for the Brewers in the same sense that Matt LaFleur can win or lose games for the Packers.
Which brings me back to my overall
It's
point.
not tight. I'm not tight.
Alex Strove's take, Ben Brust obsession, Brewer fans' obsession with Pat Murphy is all because they're not over Craig Counsell.
It was egregious behavior.
And you should be over Craig Counsell.
So do you think that they're doing the whole, like, I really miss my ex, but I'm going to pretend like I really like my current significant other?
I'm going to go unconscious bias in this. Okay. I don't think they realize that they are, it's like projection. Like, they're mad at Craig Counsell, so then they're going to hype up what they have. To use his analogy, Alex Strofe, about the girlfriend or whatever, is that you are honestly, like, overhyping your own girlfriend and pointing out all the positives she has, but not really pointing out positives. You're really just pointing out all the things that your ex didn't do. Listen to Ben Brust. All he does is talk about all the things that that Craig Counsell didn't do.
Who the hell gives whether Ben Brust?
Exactly, Barry. It's all like, Counsell didn't do this. Look what Murphy does. So it's projection of, like, we're mad that our manager left. And it's easy to point at the bad guy in Craig Counsell because he left. You won that. Mm-hmm. Like, let it go. You got Pat Murphy. A great manager. Best case scenario, both teams improved as managers. Like, best case scenario, the Cubs got better over David Ross. I don't know if they did or didn't. The Brewers are, at a bare minimum, the same level of managing, maybe better with Pat Murphy, but that's a couple wins. The number one reason the Milwaukee Brewers are good at baseball right now is I'm going to give it to Matt Arnold. Number 2 is the players. Number 3 is David Stearns, who assembled a lot of this roster. And then number 4 is Pat Murphy. And realistically, if you really wanted to upset people, number 5 is probably Craig Counsell, since he developed a lot of these guys.
And also, didn't Pat Murphy come from Craig Counsell?
Yeah, he was
raised up
Craig
underneath him.
Pat Murphy was actually his coach in college.
That's crazy.
So
that is crazy.
Craig Counsell could be 5 on that list, but we don't need to be that inflammatory.
I think it's hard to say that he's 5 on the list when Pat Murphy has the same group of players, if not a slightly worse group of players.
We have to see what he does, though.
We have to see what he does in the playoffs, but I mean, since 2018, Craig Counsell hasn't shown much either. And so far through 2 seasons with the Cubs, he hasn't shown that he can raise the level like he said he would when he was getting better resources in Chicago.
That's fine. Murphy's 4, though. Like, I'm not going to argue Craig Counsell's influence on this. Murphy's number 4, and that I feel good about because David Stearns acquired his players. Because I think it's fair to say the Brewers have the number 1 pitching staff 1 through 13 in all of baseball.
1 through 13?
Like, I'm talking
Oh, you're
bullpen.
talking the relievers, the bullpen, too?
Yep.
I don't know if you include the bullpen. Starting rotation, I would say they definitely are 1 or 2. Starting rotation easily, which is the most important part of the pitching staff.
Fine, top 3, 4 overall pitching staff, though, too. Yes.
Probably, yeah.
So that would be 1, managed by the pitching coach, but 2, assembled by the GM. There's so many other pieces involved. So it's easy to point to Pat Murphy. Brewer fans aren't over Craig Counsell. I'll give it to you. You won that. So can we just be eyes wide open? And if we want to be showing the most amount of love, it's to Matt Arnold. Then it's the players. And then if you really don't want to show it to a guy who's not here anymore in David Stearns, then give it to Pat Murphy. So if you want to, let's make this fair to not inflame it, get everyone all worked up. Or we can, Ryan, I'll leave it up to you.
The poll question's already been posted, by the way.
All right. Our side and limited poll question, what's the biggest reason for the Brewers' success this season? Pat Murphy, the players, Matt Arnold, or David Stearns? 844-770-3776. That's a Carbs Talking text line. List is more.
So I'm curious from a Chicago Cubs fan standpoint, with Craig Counsell being the manager of the Cubs, how much do you feel like the way that the team has performed in the last couple of weeks since the trade deadline, like you said, is on Craig Counsell? On the flip side.
The Cubs, they're going to win more games this year than they won with David Ross. So I don't really know. I think that...
But David Ross never had Kyle Tucker. He never had Pico Armstrong. He never had...
And again, this goes back to how is it Craig Counsell, or in general a manager's fault, if Kyle Tucker doesn't hit like he used to? What is he supposed to do?
Part of what the Brewers have done well, and I think what Pat Murphy does well, is not only empowering players, but empowering his other coaches to try and make the changes that are necessary.
But do you think he's not doing that, or do you think Kyle Tucker is just not performing?
I think based off of what Craig Counsell did with the Brewers for a long time, he was much more prone to let it keep riding, and it'll turn back to what is the mean, the average.
Oh, okay, so if we're talking about player development, PCA went from a slap hitting player to he won't finish as an MVP guy, but a 30 guy, and 30 home runs, 30 doubles, and 30 stolen bases. Nobody expected that out of PCA. That was Craig Counsell, and PCA will tell us, letting PCA be PCA and work through things up and down.
But that's a great example of what the coach does for a baseball team, and helping players like development, especially the young guys.
But again, the batting coach was involved. There was so many other coaches involved.
But isn't this the point of what in baseball? The name for a head coach is what? It's the manager. You manage the team. You manage the other coaches.
My point. Yeah, my point is, and again, it's not just me. Like this is a given in baseball. Baseball managers are the least important manager, I think, in all the major sports.
I would agree with that for sure.
But I'm not saying they don't have a major effect. I'm just saying Matt Arnold and the players are more important than Pat Murphy. Like if you took, how much worse do you think the Brewers are this year with Craig Counsell? Are they winning the division?
I don't know.
Yes,
it's probably the same.
I think it'd be close to the same, but I don't know if they'd be I think they'd be closer to where the Cubs are right now.
Don't even, Ryan.
Yes.
Ryan.
What do you mean, Ryan?
Don't do that.
Why not? Why shouldn't I say that?
Because even I know that Craig Counsell was a great manager when he was here.
I'm not saying Craig Counsell isn't a great manager. I think he is a good manager.
Now I want to post
this. So how much do you think that Pat Murphy is swaying? How much this team is winning?
4 wins. If they were 4 wins lower, then they would be 5 games ahead of the Cubs.
They could have been.
So yeah, I think that's what I'm saying. They'd be much closer to where the Cubs are right now. I think they'd be leading the division still, but I think it would be still a race. It would still be contested.
Can we post a second? Now I want to ask this question. Would the Brewers
still? No, I'm not saying that. No. Hold on.
Would the Brewers still be? Would the Brewers be in first place if Craig Counsell was their manager?
Yes, I think they still would.
I want to post that now.
Well, no, because you're not letting me finish my explanation.
Okay, I don't
He's
disagree.
agreeing with it.
Yeah,
though.
I know.
We got to find something he doesn't agree with.
No, but my point is that I think part of the reason the Brewers are as hot as they are, they're playing free and loose, is because that's how Pat Murphy coaches them to play. He wants them to be free, and what a manager does well work, he doesn't overmanage things. Whereas I think Craig Counsell at times overmanages, and that's why he has the
What makes
effects
you
of-
say that?
But wait, you just said that he lets things go, and you just like Kyle
Pat
Tucker.
Murphy does. I'm saying,
that's the whole knock on Craig Counsell. Cubs fans are all upset that
I think
he just
Craig
runs out
Counsell
the same lineup.
Craig Counsell, the way he manages pitchers and the way he manages pitch counts and the way he tries and affect and impact every part of the game that way, like openers, all the things he does with pitching staffs and rotations, that's the part where I think it really bites him in the butt because he tries to overmanage it, tries to overthink it, and because of that, things come back to get him. Whereas I think Pat Murphy lets a team and the players play free, which is part of why the players are playing as well as they are.
Can I say that when you have Woodruff and all these other great starters that can go deeper, like
having
the Cubs
great players
right now,
helps.
Yeah, because right now the
no
Cubs
doubt.
they got two starters because Cade Horton is their version of Mizrowski, a first-round pick. He's already passed his max. He can't go more than 5 innings anyways. He got a blister today. They had to shut him down. They weren't going to let a star player pitch with a blister. It's funny. It's dumb.
I know. I'm just laughing.
I wasn't sure if Molly was laughing.
No,
but
I understand that it's probably painful to pitch with a blister. It just sounds like it's so jabroni.
But here's how
this is why.
It's
add it to
baseball.
my list. Add it to my list of why I hate baseball. Blisters.
Because, and I agree with you, but it's like, okay, he could then kind of adjust, and then he changes the way he throws, and then when they're throwing 96 miles per hour, that one thing going wrong could throw off their elbow. Now, I agree with you. It's very, very babyfied, but like that's just how it goes.
We do in football. There is a thing called turf toe.
Hey, that's a real thing.
But blisters aren't.
Blisters are.
But
I'm just saying, it just sounds funny.
It is funny. But my point is that like Counsell has had, and the hitting's just stopped. Like you can't control the hitting. The Cubs went from one of the best hitting teams in baseball before the All-Star break to one of the worst.
I think
he
baseball
has no say over that.
I think baseball is one of the all-time vibe sports where you have to be feeling good, and feeling good throughout a 162-game season. A lot of that is dependent on the morale and the tone of the manager.
But I think we want to believe that.
I think it is more than we think because we're not the ones in the clubhouse every day. We don't know what the vibe and the feel like is in that clubhouse. Whereas I think when you are in it, you would not be saying the same thing.
But like everyone that wants to like crap on Phil Jackson for not being a great coach or Doc Rivers for not being a great coach.
People crap on Phil Jackson.
Oh yeah, it's like he's not a great he doesn't come up with great plays. He just created this vibe for the team.
But that's what good coaches do. I think that's what the underlying thing of what makes a great coach. Dan Campbell with the Lions. He's not this offensive mastermind.
But those are sports that you have more effectiveness.
He doesn't micromanage, and you let them.
Dan Campbell has said himself that, Ben Johnson's the one calling all the plays. Aaron Glenn's the one running the defense. Dan Campbell just has his says and makes the big decisions on fourth downs, and he's the one who's setting the culture. I think that's what a manager and a good head coach truly does.
Though. Matt LaFleur is not a culture setter, but he's a great offensive mind.
But how much further has that gotten him than Dan Campbell? And it's Craig Counsell versus Pat. I think it's the same comparison.
If you want to say that Pat Murphy's... No, I get what you're saying, but my point is it's still Matt Arnold, and it's still the players, and it's Pat Murphy.
I think that's fair, but I'm just saying we should not be diminishing what Pat Murphy has done.
I'm not diminishing. I just think that we're overinflating. No, Molly. I think we are overinflating because Brewer fans are obsessed with hating Craig Counsell.
Okay, we'll get it. I think we should get into it on the other side. There's more from Mr. Irrelevant that I think you would love to hear.
Oh, God. All right, this is Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light.
You're listening to Jim, Matt, and Molly.
I think we asked Jim, would you potentially have your wife on Jim, Matt, and Molly? That's what we wanted to ask you.
If she wanted to, I don't care. I mean, for an interview, she's looking at me right now. I mean, I'm sure we could be open to an interview sometime.
We could bring her on now.
Taylor Swift joining she rolled her eyes at me like my 12-year-old does, so I don't know.
Presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Madison on YouTube.
Timeout.
All right. Remember, we're a team that plays together. Listen, the winning will take care of itself. We just have to get everyone involved.
In interscholastic sports, we celebrate what makes every one of us unique. And in the pursuit of a common goal, everyone in the huddle, in the bleachers, and in the community comes together. This message presented by the WIAA and the Wisconsin Athletic Directors Association.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
When it comes to security for your home and family, you want a winner, and we found one when we placed our trust with J&K Security Solutions. This is Greg Gard. Kim and Jeff hit the game-winning shot for us with the Control 4 home technology system. Home or away, from our smartphones, we can open the garage door, dim the lights, turn on the TV, as well as arm the security system. That's convenience as well as peace of mind. Let J&K Security Solutions do for your home or business like they've done for us. Call 255-5799 or online at jksecurity.com.
In the next 30 seconds, I'm going to tell you how to save money and save the planet. It's simple. Ditch your energy bill and make the switch over to Everlight Solar. While electricity prices keep rising, Everlight Solar will give you the chance to take ownership of your power while also reducing your carbon footprint. As a local company based out of Madison, they'll be there with you every step of the way as you make the switch to solar. To learn more about how you can save money and save the planet, go to everlightsolar.com.
Since 1956, Holman Lindsay Paints has been making paint in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Because of their commitment to making great paint for Wisconsinites, Holman Lindsay has grown over the years to 26 locations in this great state. Headquarters in Sun Prairie with a state-of-the-art facility, Holman Lindsay has the paint you need to make your job better. From do-it-yourself to professional, Holman Lindsay has paint for everyone. Visit one of their local locations today in Madison, Sun Prairie, Middleton, and Janesville.
Bringing summer gatherings to the next level is just another thing we do at Celebrations Entertainment. Hi, it's Jeffrey. With rental items like sound equipment, photo booths, and even yard games, you can make your event the party that everyone talks about. Any event like graduation parties, block parties, or even a backyard barbecue can be elevated with fun, interactive items to make everyone ask, "Hey, how'd you pull this off?" Just tell them celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Grassland Butter is built by tradition right here in Wisconsin. Grassland is family owned and has been crafting butter for 5 generations. That's why at Grassland Butter, you're more than just an employee, you're family. The Wietrich family believes in supporting each other, growing together, and building a workplace where everyone feels valued. Your voice matters at Grassland Dairy. Your success is our success. Join a team where culture isn't just a buzzword, it's how we live every day. Check us out online at grassland.com. That's grassland.com.
An unsuspecting driver at a Milwaukee barbershop.
I got an apprentice here shadowing me. I'm gonna put this hot towel on, man. About a good 3 minutes, all right?
The apprentice is Donald Driver.
So when you come here, you drive?
Yes.
Your car got seatbelts?
Yeah.
You wear them?
No.
Okay, but why not?
I don't want to.
But do you know you can get a ticket for that? I'm gonna give you a ticket. I bet you wish you buckle up now.
Oh my God. Donald Driver can't always be there to remind you.
Take it, click it. There we go. Click it or ticket.
And let's reduce fatalities on Wisconsin roadways. Sponsored by Wisconsin DOT.
Welcome back to Jim, Matt, and Molly. Presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Metro Kia Madison. Madison's trusted Kia dealership.
Yeah, it's over, it's over. I'm circling these boxes, grabbing a brand, man, this hunger. I'm feeling something rotten. I'm feeling kind of tilted, and I'm pouring out the truth. Just fading out these talkers, 'cause now all I
You know what's frustrating is trying to do a radio show with your wife texting you because your girls can't figure out how to work the Switch. And I am already the Nintendo Switch. I'm already the unofficial. What's the IT person for my parents? I've had to unhook their iPhone accounts and all these other things. Now I have to help my girls with trying to figure out how to get the Nintendo Switch onto the TV. And I was like, I showed them once. I can't really try to show them again.
The Nintendo Switch is actually the Nintendo Switch is actually one of the most confusing pieces of technology. I feel like it's not just like a PlayStation where you just plug it in.
It is very much the other way around in almost every other household in America. It is the kids telling the parents how to set it up. That is crazy that Jim has to do that for his daughters.
Very true.
And I just got a text that Rosie figured it out. She was using the wrong cord. So if everyone was suspended.
Can we get a full update in the next Sports Center update coming up here?
Absolutely. Get into the show, 844-770-3776. That's Carbs Talk text line. This is more. The Brewer fans are upset on the Talk and text line. Our Siding Limited poll question, which, Molly, maybe you can bring that up and tell us the results. We did ask the question, what's the biggest reason for the Brewers' success this season? Pat Murphy, the players, Matt Arnold, or David Stearns? Primetime Lorsham behind the glass. You can get into the show to answer that as well. Tim in Oregon said the series is important because it was 5 Cub games in a row. 1 win, homie. Murphy's secret pocket pancakes. And then Counsell can be $10 million happier, more money. Rick in DeForest says, never was a Craig Counsell fan. I like him as a hometown guy, but nothing special as far as what Murphy brings. By the way, he could also win Comedian of the Year. That's Rick from North and South.
Comedian of the Year?
It was egregious behavior.
He's talking Pat Murphy or Craig Counsell there?
Pat Murphy,
He's
for
saying
sure.
Pat Murphy, yeah.
He has his style
He's
of
not that
comedy,
funny.
I would say.
It's not behavior conducive to a winning ball club.
Daniel Landscaper says, hey, Jim, I'm glad you're back.
Molly, I'm glad you're back too.
LOL. Cubs still suck. Can't wait for your takes on the Brewers. They're still not good. I don't think see, this is where Daniel and others like get in their feels and can't hear anything. I'm the one that called out Ryan when the Cubs were winning the division and the Brewers were like maybe 5-6 games back, and you're like, division's not even that good. And I said,
at the time, the Brewers were not playing great baseball.
But I said
they were not a very good team.
little too early to write that whole thing off. And
Fair enough.
I don't think at any point have I said that the Brewers are not better than the like. People just project things. The Brewers are unquestionably better than the Cubs.
No, the Cubs were unquestionably at one time better than the Brewers.
Yes, and now the Brewers are unquestionably better than the Cubs. I don't think the Cubs are going to win. Maybe they win this series. It doesn't matter. The division's over. Like the Brewers have won the division. Outside of an abject disaster, which isn't going to happen.
Knock on wood.
It's just not going to. I mean, at this point in the year, the Brewers are who they are.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're the best team in the National League. I think I'd still probably, when it all comes down to it, I'm going to go to the team that has more money and more pelts on the wall, and that's the Dodgers. And then maybe the Brewers can compete with Philadelphia. I'll tell you right now, the Brewers fans do not want to face LA or Philadelphia before the NLCS because that could get ugly. But that's a good place to be. The 262, put your name on it. Says Ryan's exactly right. Oh, Alex Wanakee chimes back later. It's all vibes now. So that's my point. Vibes are not tangible. And you all can get mad at me. Look it up. It is universally believed that a manager in baseball has the least effect on wins and losses than any other sport.
I also just think that baseball is, and I've said this before, and you guys probably hate that I say this, but I think there's a lot of skill required, obviously. Like we've talked about it with hitting a baseball at 100 miles an hour. Yes, there's a lot of skill, but I think there's a lot of luck with it too. And I know you guys are going to hate me for saying that.
Luck is involved when there's this many games, for sure.
Yeah, and like that is part of like.
But here's the thing about baseball. You're right. They have a stat to track luck.
Oh, what stat is that?
They do stats on like batting average and balls hit in play. So what they do is, hey, what is the normal amount of when a ball is hit in play? How many times does that ball fall in for a hit? That type of. And then it is your batting average off of that. If your batting average as a team is much higher or much lower on the average batting average on balls hit in the play. Then you know that you are either being luckier or more unlucky than the year before. They do it specifically to players. So, like,
interesting.
If Christian Yelich hits 300 balls in the play, and 1 year 100 of them will fall in, and the next year 130 fall in. 1 year he's an all-star, the next year he's a fringe major league player, and it didn't change anything. It's just he hit it really hard, and it went to the wrong person. This year, and I think that can carry, but that's not the manager. This Brewers team is hitting the ball really well, and the ball's falling into play. Luck is the residue of design. So even if they are, quote-unquote, lucky, it's not luck in the idea that they're not earning it. It's just a matter of they're hitting the ball hard, and this year they're falling, and other years they haven't fallen in.
Early return on our Siding Unlimited poll question day on the ESPN Madison X page. What is the biggest reason for the Brewers' success this season? The answers are Pat Murphy, the players, Matt Arnold, and David Stearns. Pat Murphy is leading the way at 50%, the players at 46%, and then 2-2 for Arnold and Stearns.
It is hilarious that Arnold does not have more credit. But again, it goes back to Brewer fans aren't over Craig Counsell. Because you do agree Matt Arnold should have more than 2%.
Yeah, 2% is very low. And I would say if I was picking, I would have the players as number one. I think the players are the ones doing
I would
more
buy the
than
players as number one.
Okay, so just question. Let's flip this again. If the Brewers stunk right now,
okay,
who are you blaming the most for them stinking?
I mean, it depends on whatever the reason is for their stinkiness. But
okay, at the beginning of the season. But they weren't very good.
In the example of like Jim's Cubs right now, if they were doing what the Cubs are doing, I would be blaming the players. There's really no way you can. I mean, PCA not hitting nearly as well as he should be. I mean, he's been terrible in the month of August.
Awful, yeah.
I mean, he's
probably hit a wall. He's probably hit a rookie wall.
Yes.
I mean, this is his first full
Yes.
season, and You can make a case maybe Counsell should sit him a little bit more, but he's not.
And I would also say that like guys like Kyle Tucker aren't playing at the level they were earlier in the year. And I think some of the pitching issues are due to injury, which you can't control.
Well, and also there's no room for error.
Yes.
So they're not hitting. So the pitching is actually...
Which is where the Brewers were earlier in the year.
Yes. And the Cubs starting pitching for the last couple, month and a half has actually been top of the major leagues. Mm-hmm. And even their bullpen hasn't been bad, but there's no room for error.
The hitting's been
when they were down
bad.
3-0, the Cubs, my brother's like, oh, things got out of hand. I'm like, when it was down 3-0, I thought the thing was over.
Yeah.
The Cubs don't have 3 runs in them.
They had to bring up their top prospect just to try to generate some pop
and he
in the
got
lineup.
a hit today. The Cubs, I think... margin of victory was 1 run each game over the Pirates, and the Pirates are terrible, and that was at Wrigley Field. The Cubs are a scuffling team. They are not playing well, and they have not turned it around. They are, if anything, the Brewers have monstered the Cubs.
And for an example of why I would still say the Brewers, the players are the biggest reason for their winning, it's like they've been able to do it no matter who's in the lineup, too, which is what's impressive to me the most. Like Blake Perkins, Isaac Collins both go out of the lineup. Andrew Monasterio hits the game-winning home run on Saturday night against the Reds. I mean, it's every guy, it's every, the whole Murphy's Misfits thing, it's real because that's really what they are. Every guy is playing above their weight, whereas earlier in the year there was 1 or 2 guys who were playing really well, whereas now it is the entire team. And I'll say this, I think a lot of that has to do with guys feeding off of each other and them creating the proper climate culture within the clubhouse. I think there's a lot to be said for that I'll be honest, I don't think you can necessarily quantify when you try to look at some of the numbers and try to allocate who's responsible for what. You can't quantify everything, no matter, even in baseball, which is the most quantifiable sport.
Daniel Landscaper says here maybe they could do what the Royals did in 14 and 15. So what made Ned Yost a better manager with the Royals? Or did he just have better players?
So when he said maybe they can do it, the Royals did in 14-15, win the World Series is what he means?
But Ned Yost was the manager of that team. Former Brewers manager that Brewer fans happily ran out of town.
I mean,
what made him a better manager with the Royals? Probably better players?
I would assume the Brewers didn't get to hold on to Zach Greinke in that trade, unfortunately, with the Royals. But they did have Lorenzo Cain. They also, who else did the Brewers send to the Royals? Oh, God. Alcides Escobar.
Yeah.
He was fun.
Yeah.
He was fun.
But my point is that, that team, Ned Yost was the manager of the Brewers that everyone in Milwaukee hated, and then he goes to the Royals and wins a World Series. Joe Madden didn't win a World Series with Tampa.
I mean, that was 10 years apart. Managers change.
Okay, Joe Madden didn't win a World Series with Tampa. He won one with Chicago and it's been terrible with the Angels, or was terrible with the Angels.
I mean, managers change and grow just the same way players do, too. I mean, players mean the most in, I think, any sport, no matter what it is.
In baseball, they mean more than anything else. Now, again, I'll go back to this. Matt Arnold assembling a group of players that gel well together and play off of each other well together speaks to Matt Arnold building it together.
But I think there's a guy, the manager, who's the one who takes personalities and makes sure they work well together. That's the manager's job.
Again,
I'm giving
you 4 wins.
True, but I think the GM, same way in football, Goody picks the players, but then Matt LaFleur has to deal with the ingredients when he's trying to make the recipe, make the dinner. He's the one who has to try and make sure these guys mesh together as people, as players. There's so much to be said for that in any sport. You brought up Phil Jackson earlier. I mean, Phil Jackson, his greatness is that he made Kobe and Shaq play together and get along. That he made Dennis Rodman fit in the Bulls. Guys who should have never put together did.
When you watch The Last Dance, every player will say Michael Jordan is why we fell in line.
And I think at the end of the day, the players and playing well has to fall. That is the ultimate key. You cannot win or lose. You can't win without that. But I think if you have the wrong manager, the person who doesn't handle it properly, doesn't manage it properly, that's where it falls apart.
And I'm curious, so David Deerfield, or someone else said, actually Daniel Landscaper said, the Brewers are the new Moneyball. You better hope not.
You mean if the
Athletics didn't win anything?
I think they're the new Moneyball in that they might have found the inefficiency in baseball right now, which is that most teams in baseball don't care about fielding or running or trying to put the ball in play, whereas that's what the Brewers are built off of. If you look across the league right now, teams across the league are
putting the ball in play, because the Cubs are a team that care about fielding and running.
Yes,
they're one of the best teams in fielding and running, but they don't put the ball in play.
But teams across the MLB now have valued that much and much less, because all anyone cares about is getting the big boppers, bats who can generate home runs, but then they don't think about guys who can actually field and play the field. Whereas the Brewers, that's what they've maximized.
Well, because they have to.
That's the Moneyball portion to it. Now, it's not the same as Moneyball too, because they were finding guys who, we don't like how he pitches.
They didn't win a World Series.
He's got an ugly girlfriend.
But they didn't win a World Series.
Well, but then you're saying that the Brewers have to win the World Series this year?
Yeah. They have to get to the World Series.
That's crazy.
No, I'm sorry.
I think we talk about that on the other side.
We cannot call this team the 20. We will. I want to say this because this kind of gets to my point. Winning creates a good culture. Good culture doesn't create winning is my take on this whole thing, and that's why managers only matter so much. But we won't have to through the name if they don't want to share it. But 608 chimes in. I worked for the Brewers 7 years inside the clubhouse in the dugout. And it takes a village. Murphy is huge, but Arnold and Stearns are big. Look at 82. Harvey Keene changed everything. And again, this is where it's ambiguous. If you had hired a different manager, would it have made a big difference? I don't know. It was fun, and fans want to. And here's the thing: fans, we all want to attribute something to a manager. And here's what we'll never know: if you just stuck in a manager of similar managing ability as Harvey, but maybe not the same personality, are the Brewers better? Do they win the World Series that year? Are they worse? We don't know, and that's the hard thing to nail down. And vibes are impossible to track. But that's why I'm giving Pat Murphy the 4. But here's the hill I'll die on. The Brewers are in first place today, regardless of Craig Counsell or Pat Murphy is managing this team. And that's because of the roster that Matt Arnold and David Stearns put together. And those are the players. That's why I put Pat Murphy third. That's why if the Cubs win, I would put Craig Counsell third. This is Jim Matt Molly, presented by Coors Light.
When it comes to security for your home and family, you want a winner, and we found one when we placed our trust with J&K Security Solutions. This is Greg Gard. Kim and Jeff hit the game-winning shot for us with the Control4 home technology system. Home or away, from our smartphones, we can open the garage door, dim the lights, turn on the TV, as well as arm the security system. That's convenience as well as peace of mind. Let J&K Security Solutions do for your home or business like they've done for us. Call 255-5799 or online at jksecurity.com.
Hey, this is former Badger Brad Norton.
Norman has a fake. Great call and great execution.
You're listening to a Good Karma Brands radio station, 100.5 ESPN, WTLX, Monona, Madison.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good afternoon, Madison. I'm Ryan Wollersheim, and this is your Sports and Update brought to you by Ridgetop Exteriors, Wisconsin's premier roofing, siding, and window contractor since 2002. Visit them at ridgetopexteriors.com. Well, Game 1 of the I-94 rivalry just wrapped up down on the north side, and the Brewers took Wrigley Field by storm with a 7-0 win, breaking it open with a 4-run 8th inning. Brewers starter Freddie Peralta tossed 6 scoreless innings en route to his MLB-leading 15th win, and the Brewers now extend their lead over the Cubs atop the NL Central standings to 9 games ahead of their Chicago counterparts. The Brewers and Cubs are scheduled to be back at it for Game 2 of today's doubleheader tonight, with rookie Chad Patrick, who is designated as the team's 27th man for today's doubleheader, scheduled to pitch to start tonight's contest. But there is some weather rolling in down on the north side, so we'll be monitoring that one right here on 100.5 ESPN. Pre-game tentatively set to start around 6:30, just after Jim, Matt, and Molly wraps up right here on 100.5 ESPN, Madison's home of the Brewers. Then the Green Bay Packers return to practice today after a week out in Indianapolis versus the Colts. Jordan Love back to on-field activities after 6 days after he underwent thumb surgery. He was participating in everything other than 11-on-11 drills today in a modified format. Head over to ESPN.com to read more.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
Everybody's ego takes a shot on this show.
You gotta keep your chill with Jim, Matt, and Molly.
I am
We're
savage.
learning a lot
So you're not
about each
special.
other. If we want to play this game, we can play this game.
And I'm just like, oh my God, this guy's going to swing on Jim. He's a complicated fellow.
People like me.
I don't think so.
This is Jim, Matt, and Molly on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Madison on YouTube.
We're learning a lot about each other.
I don't even know what Caleb Durbin looks like.
1-1. Durbin, a high fly to left. It is way back and gone. Durbin almost out onto Waveland.
So the nickname doesn't really fit. You want to hear it? The Durbinator.
Nice.
According to the Milwaukee Brewers.
Caleb Durbin exits stage left. That was a bomb.
And the Durbinator.
And the Let's Go Brewers chants raining down at Wrigley Field.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio in downtown Madison. Alongside Molly Brown, here's Jim Rutledge.
It is hour number 2 of Jim, Matt, and Molly. We are presented by Coors Light. The mountains are blue, you know what to do.
And that's Crush a Coors Light.
I'm Jim Rutledge. I have the power in the Everlight Solar Studio. Primetime Laura Sean behind the glass. I was so distracted by the hoo-hoo from the Pillsbury Doughboy / Jesse Nelson. Have we confirmed
No, I have not had time to look up the Pillsbury Doughboy
All
during
right.
the show yet.
Can you chime in on that? 844-770-3776. It's the Carbus Talk text line. List is more.
Oh, God. What's
Was
the
it the
question?
Pillsbury Doughboy that went, woohoo, or ooh, when you poked him in the belly?
I know what you're talking about. I don't know what our other options would be.
Winnie the Pooh?
No. What did Pooh used to say? Gross. I don't like how I said that.
What did Pooh used to say? Yeah, Molly, come on. Can you get your mind out of the gutter here?
Matt Hamilton is overseas, so we will talk to him when he returns in like 2 weeks. So hopefully we're going to get some opportunity to talk to him and Chris Plies as we are adding some quote-unquote like fan experts, I guess. Now, Pat the Designer is going to join us next segment from ESPN Chicago. He hosts the Chicago Bears podcast. But, you know, we can kind of start that interview asking his story because I think he kind of started as a fan. I believe he might have worked in construction and then kind of turned his podcast into a career with ESPN Chicago. Chris Plies of Team Schuster, big-time Minnesota Vikings fan, and I think we're going to have Shay Norling from ESPN Chicago as well, one of their hosts down there, who will be our resident Lions fan / expert, because I think at times the expert stuff gets a little bit boring, so I kind of want to talk to some more fan experts.
Mm-hmm.
Fan experts, if you will.
You know what I'm an expert in? After the last, 35 seconds?
What's that?
The Pillsbury Doughboy.
All
Do
right.
you want to compare it to
Yes.
Jesse Nelson? All right.
Try butter-flavored crescents. Fresh and hot. And Pillsbury says it best.
Ew. He is. Do it again.
Ooh.
So we should just poke Jesse Nelson's tummy.
No,
And
that's
then he'll
definitely
go-
such an HR violation.
Has Jesse Nelson and the
Is
Pillsbury Doughboy been seen in the same place? That's all I'm asking.
Well, probably not because Pillsbury Doughboy is a cartoon, and he's always actually a claymation, I think. So yeah, it'd be hard to prove for any of us.
Is Jesse a claymation?
Do you want another Citing Unlimited poll question? Is that what you're asking for right now?
I want to get to our Citing Unlimited poll question because it is insane, and I want to clear up, and the 608 did chime back in. It says, manager is important, but you have a ton of talent. And that's kind of what I'm getting at here. It's just Brewer fans are not over Craig Counsell leaving, so they're projecting all of their love onto Pat Murphy, when realistically, I am seeing this has changed by that 48% of fans say the players. We asked our Citing Limited poll question, what's the biggest reason for the Brewers' success this season? Pat Murphy, the players, Matt Arnold, or David Stearns? Obviously, David Stearns is not getting a lot of love, but I'm sorry he drafted most of these guys. I would go Matt Arnold, the players, Pat Murphy. Now, if you really wanted to break it down, I'd even be fine with 33, 33, and 33. But realistically, I would say 40% Matt Arnold, 40% players, 20% Pat Murphy. I'm not saying a manager doesn't have an effect. I'm just saying that if you stuck I'll just go with this. If Craig Counsell is managing the Brewers, they are still leading the division comfortably.
Okay.
And so that's why Pat Murphy matters less than Matt Arnold and the players specifically. And I don't care who the manager is. If you ask me for the Cubs, even the success they've had this year, I think they have 69 wins, Giannis, and 69 wins is a good team.
70, don't they?
Now, they are falling apart. Maybe they got to 70 now, but they are falling apart at the end. But even for their success, I'm still going, you got to go Jed Hoyer, the players, and Craig Counsell. That's just, for me, a baseball manager is always going to be number 3. You have to have the players, and the GM is most important for applying players. If I look at the Green Bay Packers, I'm going Matt LaFleur, players, and then Goody.
It's not tight.
Matt LaFleur about the players? Didn't you just say before that you think the players are number 1?
No, not for football. I think coaches manage.
I thought you said it for every sport.
So you're saying over the collective 53-man roster, Matt LaFleur is more important?
Yes.
That's crazy.
As I look at Caleb Williams' performance yesterday, look at what he did with basically a bunch of morons running the offense and running the team in Chicago last year. And I know it's just a preseason, but at no point, including the preseason last year, he had a nice preseason game last year, and it was him running around making plays like he did in college. At no point did he ever look like that. At no point has he ever been coached like that.
But if that's the coach doing that for him, then shouldn't he just be able to do the same thing with Tyson Bagent? Shouldn't matter who the quarterback is?
Well, you still have it's maximizing what your players have.
But that's the point, is that you're maximizing them. The one is helping the other, whereas the player, if they don't meet a certain threshold, then they can't.
So number
even
1
compete.
is the talent of the player.
That's fine.
Has to be.
If you want to go players, but I guess the difference would be if you want to go players, manager, GM in football, I'm fine with that. I think the football, or if you want to change the percentages, football, the manager, the coach matters way more. Way more.
I would agree, yes.
I mean, it's not even close, and it's tangible.
I think no matter what sport it is, though, the players matter the most.
Yes, that's fair. I think we could just maybe adjust the percentages.
Yes, for each sport, it's different, for sure.
Like, honestly, I think in college basketball, the coach matters more than in the NBA.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I would agree.
One of the few ones that maybe the coach matters
It depends. It depends if you just get a team that's like over-recruited and is just incredibly talented, way more than the others.
But I don't know if that happens anymore with NIL. Like, just because there's only so much money.
The Florida team was pretty nasty.
Nobody's calling that coach
I don't know,
that great.
Yeah, that guy
was.
Fair. What's he doing, honestly?
Yeah, no, that's fair. I'm just kind of looking at Greg Gard specifically, and I think he maximizes what he gets out of what these players have.
I think that's maybe part of the reason.
I think it's always the players. It's always a mix here. I just think it's the percentage.
I think in college basketball, because there's so many teams and the talent level is so even across the majority of teams, that if we see the coaches impact more than most sports. But I don't know if it's necessarily that much more.
All right, let's hear from Mr. Irrelevant because he had another apparently spicy take.
So you were talking about, Brewers fans being a little obsessed with Craig Counsell and the Chicago Cubs. Well, this is what Alex Strofe had to say about why he was actually happy that the Brewers' winning streak came to an end on Sunday.
So John, who's a listener on Mr. Irrelevant, tweeted me yesterday and he said, Strofe, don't you think, or aren't you happy they lost rather than losing to the Cubs? Because then you'd have to listen to Cubs fans like Jim Rutledge.
So you can tell Rutledge that.
Cappy and at ESPN Chicago and Sylvie talk about, well, the Cubs beat the streak. They beat the hottest team in baseball. And you know what? Yes, I am. I'm glad that the Cubs didn't have the opportunity to break the streak. So I'm glad it's over with, and now the Brewers can go to Chicago with a fresh mind, knowing they are still capable of losing. It's the first time they lost in the month of August, and they can go win all 5 now. I feel good about that.
Honestly, I am so flattered that I am just like an obsession amongst petty Brewer fans and petty Wisconsin sports fans like Alex Strofe and other ones. We have Matt Schreiber chiming in. Jim, I think this is on Twitter to our side unlimited poll question. Jim, I think we might need to start having a conversation about your job security. Sorry, Matt. Your obsession with me and everyone else's obsession with me could not guarantee me a job more here. And then you have Ray Vasaccio. Jim, in history class, I don't get why Americans were so obsessed with Benedict Arnold. The Americans won anyways. Do you care about Benedict Arnold anymore?
I don't even know who Benedict Arnold is.
Thank you. So you kind of like
Benedict Cumberbatch. Is that Mr. Doctor Strange?
Yep,
right.
Same person.
So I thought.
We don't like Counsell because he's a Milwaukee kid and went to the Brewers' biggest rival.
Craig Karmazin, same person.
For more money. Sorry, a year and a half hasn't allowed to be fully forgiven. Ray, you would not take, I don't know what your rival job is, but if someone offered you more money, you wouldn't take it. And honestly, that's not why he left, because David Deerfield did point out, Attanasio came pretty close to matching the Brewers. So if you really wanted to make fun of Craig Counsell for leaving, at least be accurate on it. He left because he thought he had a better opportunity to go win a World Series with the Cubs that has not proven out so far. So, like, that's the funny reason. If you really wanted to make fun of Craig Counsell, like, that's what you would do it for. But I do think managers matter, and I do want to talk to Pat the Designer coming up next because he can talk about the difference. I'm sorry.
We got we'll do one more segment, and then we'll have Pat Designer join.
Gotcha. I'm off on the clock. We will have Pat Designer coming up here.
The Brewers speedy baseball games, guys, it screws everyone up.
But we will talk to Pat the Designer a little bit later because I do want to ask him, and you can see it directly in I'm sure he can talk about it, the Bears' difference between Matt Eberflus and Ben Johnson and the difference a coach can make in the NFL.
Okay.
We'll talk about that a little bit later in the show with Pat the Designer. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly. Molly, tell us about Carbon World Health before we go to break.
Oh, you guys, I'm excited. I've been loving my results. I got a hydrofacial done there a couple weeks ago. I'm excited because I need to book my next one. That's where I'm at right now with Carbon World Health. But you got to go check out their brand new location in the Prairie Lake Shopping Center. It is amazing. They have literally everything that you can even imagine to better yourself from the inside out. Go check them out at their brand new location in the Prairie Lake Shopping Center. That's Carbon World Health. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light.
You're listening to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Madison on YouTube.
Milwaukee baseball was born in the Emerald City, but any ties to the Pacific Northwest were cut loose decades ago. Pella has an interesting history as well. Born in Pella, Iowa, but their century-long history of crafting quality windows and doors there continues to this day. Designed with innovation and rigorously tested for quality and performance, get long-term energy savings and durability that lasts for years at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Order by August 31st and get 0% interest for up to 5 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Bringing summer gatherings to the next level is just another thing we do at Celebrations Entertainment. Hi, it's Jeffrey. With rental items like sound equipment, photo booths, and even yard games, you can make your event the party that everyone talks about. Any event like graduation parties, block parties, or even a backyard barbecue can be elevated with fun, interactive items to make everyone ask, hey, how'd you pull this off? Just tell them celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner. Clinky Cleaner CFO Sean Young.
The local part is what's key for us. Madison is a local community, and that's what I look at with James Imaging. When I talk to our account rep, he's local.
James Imaging Systems, AI-driven workflow automation, security enhancements, digital transformation, and great people.
I'd say the people at James Imaging are the top of the line for us. They know us, we know them. They take the time to listen to us when we have questions. They make it easy.
And Sean Clinky Cleaners makes it easy for their customers too.
Yes, at Clinky's, we need to be the expert in the field. We want to make life easier for them, and that's what James Imaging does for us.
Sean, any advice for others?
I would say give James Imaging a call. They've been great to us.
James Imaging Systems. Call 608-221-3457 or visit jamesimaging.com. James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Since J&K Security Solutions opened in 1987, our attention to detail and customer service have been our strongest assets. I'm President Jeffrey Beckman. We'll always do our best to find the most efficient and cost-effective solution to every job we tackle. Whether it's security for your home or business, installing video surveillance, or being able to control your garage doors from your phone, we can help you feel empowered with simple and user-friendly technology. Let's work together to secure your home or business. jksecurity.com.
Your Honda gets you everywhere. When it needs service, you need Zimbrick Honda service. Their customer service is second to none, and you can experience it for yourself at 2 convenient Madison service locations on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. From simple maintenance to expert repairs, Honda certified technicians handle it all. Stop in for an express oil change at Fish Hatchery Road on Saturdays. No appointment necessary. Part of the Madison community since 1973. Shop local. Shop Zimbrick Honda.
Hey, it's John Hayes, owner of Goodman's Jewelers. Come in and discover the high standards, classic traditions, honesty, integrity, and elegance when you walk through our doors. For over 90 years, customers have returned again and again to our warm boutique setting. Trust me, because I've been there for over 40 of them. Whether it's time to come back or your first time in, stop by Goodman's Jewelers at 220 State Street today. Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison since 1933.
The best is at Goodman's.
Welcome back to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN. Also brought to you by J&K Security Solutions.
Jim, Matt, and Molly continues live from the Everlight Solar Studio. Jim Rutledge alongside Molly Brown. We are presented by Coors Light. Primetime Lorsheim behind the glass. Chalmers Jewelers in Madison and in Middleton. They are Madison's custom jeweler. If you're looking for a custom piece of jewelry, whether it's an engagement ring, you also get yourself a nice ball watch over at Chalmers Jewelers, Madison's family-owned, Madison's custom jeweler. Chalmers Jewelers in Madison and in Middleton. If you're just joining the show, we have 2 Siding Limited poll questions. What's the biggest reason for the Brewers' success this season? Is it Pat Murphy, the players, Matt Arnold, or David Stearns? Right now, that's our Siding Limited poll question. 48% of you say the players, which I agree with. 7% of you say Matt Arnold, which is insane. And 41% of you say Pat Murphy. I think they're all involved, but I would say it should be 80%. You could tell me 75% players and Matt Arnold together, however you want to break that up, and then Pat Murphy, the other 25%. We did post a second Siding Limited poll question. Would the Brewers still be leading NL Central if Craig Counsell was still their manager? And The answer is unquestionably yes. And if this poll question ends up as no, it proves my theory that Brewer fans are only pretending to be over Craig Counsell, while they are the equivalent of the ex who just spends their entire time perusing Instagram and looking at the photos and looking at the life of their ex while pretending they're happy with their current situation. And Brewer fans should be happy with their current situation, but Brewer fans are obsessed with Craig Counsell, and I'm honestly starting to feel bad for you. You got the division by 9 games. You basically got it wrapped up, and you're obsessing over, did Craig Counsell, did he lie about ever knowing about George Webb's? Oh, my God.
Okay.
Oh, is he a liar?
Burgers.
And so, like, that's one little aspect of it. You got Pat Murphy. He's going to win NL Manager of the Year again. You're trying to prop him up as like he's like Vince Lombardi. He's a baseball manager. At best, he's worth 4 wins. And you can't just acknowledge that the Cubs maybe got the worst end of the deal. You ended up fine with Pat Murphy, but you still can't get over with it. So it's honestly funny to me, as a Cubs fan whose team is falling apart, the only saving grace I can take out of it is that Brewer fans are still so in their feels about Craig Counsell going to Chicago because you're such a little brother city sometimes to the city of Chicago that you can't just let it go. You won, but you can't let it go. Let me give you a free piece of therapy advice. Let it go. Forgive and forget. You'll be happier.
Free piece of therapy. Wait, so do you feel like that's almost equivalent to when the Packers are a lot better than the Chicago Bears, but yet all of the time Packers fans say the Bears still suck? Is that like similar vibes?
I would say it's similar vibes to this, or I'll say this. The Packer fans have forgiven and forgotten Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers easier than the Brewer fans have let go of Craig Counsell.
I don't think the Packers fans have forgiven Brett Favre for leaving to go to the Vikings. Come on. I don't think the majority of fans have.
I think people just hate Brett Favre for other reasons now.
I mean, there's a lot of outside
Let's make it cleaner.
Yeah.
Let's make it cleaner. It is unquestionably an accurate statement to say that the Packer fans got over Aaron Rodgers leaving them quicker than Brewer fans got over Craig Counsell leaving them.
But a big part of that is because Aaron Rodgers is not a hometown guy. Aaron Rodgers is not a quote-unquote Wisconsin.
For the Packers.
I know, I understand. But all of the things that Aaron Rodgers has done to essentially separate himself from the Wisconsin fan base, because I think a lot of people don't agree with the way that he lives his life, is much different versus a Craig Counsell who was raised, and he's a Milwaukee Brewer through and through. He's from Whitefish Bay. Like, he still has a home here, his family here, like all the things. You betrayed Wisconsin, and I'm not saying I land on this. I'm just saying I think that's really what goes through people's mind. You betrayed Wisconsin, and you went to Chicago. You know?
Exactly. Brewer fans are so in their feels about the city of Chicago and the Chicago Cubs. It's hilarious. And honestly, it's my only win that I get this year is that Brewer fans can't let it go, because I will die on this statement. Packer fans got over Aaron Rodgers leaving the Packers to go to the Jets faster than they got over Craig Counsell going to the Cubs to manage the Chicago Cubs and leaving the Milwaukee Brewers. That is a hill I will die on, and I'm 100% correct on it. And it is also my last little thing I'll do here is that if the Bears ever get good, that's the true rivalry, because the state of Wisconsin and the city of Milwaukee hate the city of Chicago with such a burning little brother passion, they will lose their minds if Chicago is a constant contender. Now, I'm not saying they're going to be there, and we can talk to Pat Designer about that in a second, but that is dead on facts.
Can I tell you the early results of our poll so far? You're going to love this.
I'm so happy about it.
So our second Siding Unlimited poll question is, would the Brewers still be leading the NL Central if Craig Counsell was still their manager? Yes is at 31%. No is at 69%.
Thank
69.
you.
I like that number.
Thank you for proving my point. Ryan, you know I'm right.
On which aspect?
That the Packer fans got over Aaron Rodgers leaving his team.
If Aaron Rodgers does not tear his Achilles on the 4th play with the Jets, I think things are very different.
Okay, but as things stand
in this world, yes. But I think the way Aaron Rodgers left would have been much worse had he stayed healthy and had he not completely burned out with the Jets.
Probably 100%. That's why Brett Favre. I'll give you Brett Favre, because now I think it's solved over. But that wound was raw longer because he ended up in Minnesota and it got him to the got him to the
NFC Championship.
As it should have been.
Yes, exactly.
That sucked.
Especially when you go to the direct rival too, the same way Craig Counsell did too. Like I think that, but you do it at a football level. Now I guess it would be more maybe akin to for Brewers fans, like if he had gone to the Cardinals. I guess if you're talking Vikings to Cardinals and like what each means to the Brewers and Packers fans respectively. But no, I think Craig Counsell, if I'm stacking those three, like which made Wisconsin fans the most upset, I think it was probably Favre, Counsell, Rodgers. And Rodgers because people were kind of fed up with him at the point.
That might have to be our last poll question on the way out the door.
I think we've asked enough. Haven't we asked enough Craig Counsell here?
Jim is our boss. Come on. If he says poll question, we do a poll question.
Hey, there's only one person that's my boss.
Jim and Madison did ask the question, what do you think the team's record would be if Counsell was still the manager? Just take 4 wins off what they have right now. Whatever.
So it'd still be 5 games ahead of
5 games ahead of the Cubs,
potentially.
Yeah. And I think that's fair.
In a theoretical world, yes.
If he was the manager of Cubs and the manager of the Brewers,
all-time NL Central manager,
Honestly,
Craig Counsell.
Here's the thing: flip the teams, put Pat Murphy on the Cubs. It's a 5-game lead for the Brewers.
I think that's a better question too. Would the Cubs be better than Pat Murphy?
We can follow that one up too.
He's a vibes guy. Of course,
we'll
they
follow
would be.
it up. We got 3 more days to talk Brewers Cubs. As of tonight, we're still getting a Brewers Cubs game, as far as I can tell.
That's
as well.
not going to happen.
Though there are some storms down in Chicago.
Is Daniel the Landscaper going to be at the fantasy draft?
I believe he is. I don't
God.
know if he's in the Jim Matt
Get your
Molly
boxing
league.
gloves.
I need to give him a fist bump or something because I love how engaged he is. He is clearly. I think he likes us, likes you and Matt more than me. But people
obviously.
like. I love.
We're the vibes of the
I
show.
love how engaged he is and how much fun he's having. But I want to go out on this note before we get to Pat the designer on the other side. Jim, you're 100% correct. The only person I heard more talk about Craig Counsell was Jesse, the hall monitor.
Ooh. Jesse hates Craig Counsell with all his burning passion.
And Jesse is the definition of a diehard Brewers fan.
He is the most diehard Brewers fan, I think, in ESPN Madison.
He's also the definition of a Chicago-hating Wisconsinite.
I don't know about that. When it comes to the Cubs, I would say for sure.
All
right. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light.
You're listening to Jim, Matt, and Molly.
Because I'm out on Kelsey.
Clipped Laporta.
I'm out on Kelsey. I don't like Kelsey.
Travis Kelce.
I do.
God, if Jim was
his hair,
here,
his last name, everything. He'll be like, "What? Him and Taylor Swift are great."
If Jim was here, he would just be screaming at the both of you. Right
Literally,
now.
Oh
exactly.
my gosh, he would be losing
This
his
isn't even
mind.
a question.
Presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Madison on YouTube.
Bump, set, spike.
Wisconsin wins the third set in extra points.
Get ready for another exciting season of Badgers volleyball with a preseason edition of the Kelly Sheffield Show.
Left side, getting rejected is Sire. Another Wisconsin block.
Tune in August 28th at 8 p.m. on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Wisconsin app for the Kelly Sheffield Show. Presented by North and South Seafood and Smokehouse. ESPN Madison is the official home for Wisconsin Badgers women's volleyball.
Hey, Matt Hamilton here to tell you about the delicious Odyssey Brands, a family-owned company crafting award-winning cheese right here in Wisconsin for over 4 generations. Made with locally sourced milk, Odyssey brings bold, Greek-style flavors straight to your table. From savory, crumbly feta to rich and creamy Greek yogurt, every bite is a taste of tradition and quality. You can find Odyssey products at most major retailers nationwide and online. Odyssey, crafted in Wisconsin, loved everywhere, dairy done right.
At Siding Unlimited, we're really excited for the fall season. Not only are we proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics, we are also fired up for an exciting fall season cheering on football and volleyball. If that's not enough, we're really excited to share with you that Siding Unlimited is Wisconsin's best window and door installation team. Siding Unlimited is a Pella Platinum Premier National Contractor of the Year award winner 5 times. Looking for new windows and doors? Visit us at sidingunlimited.com or stop by our beautiful showroom in Madison.
The search for luxury begins at Audi Madison. Save $5,500 when you purchase or lease a new 2025 Audi Q7 55. National customer credit is good toward the purchase, finance, or lease of a new Audi, but is only available until September 2nd. Stop in and test drive today. Check out AudiMadison.com to see current inventory and specials. Start your adventure at Audi Madison today, off the Beltline and Rimrock Road.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Brew Crew Tuesdays are back on August 19th.
Turio sends it deep to left, and there she goes.
Catch the Brewers on local TV as they battle the Chicago Cubs.
And Yelich launches one deep right center field. Forget about it. Oh, my goodness, third deck.
This edition of Brew Crew Tuesdays is presented by Delta Dental of Wisconsin. Tune in August 19th at 7:05 on WISC TV in Madison, or check your local listings to watch the game.
Sharon needed legal help. She needed Gruber Law Offices.
When I think about Gruber Law Office, I think about how they took care of me, how they make sure that you get what you're supposed to get. Gruber Law Office. One call, that's all. I will always, always trust one call, that's all.
Injured? Call Gruber Law Offices today. One call, that's all.
They are the best. I'm very happy.
Hi, it's Eric from Canopy Wealth Management. Our years of experience have prepared us to guide you through your life transitions. Our local professional team brings over 90 years of collective experience in the wealth management industry for the benefit of our clients. Canopy Wealth Management. Care, competence, clarity. It's not just a tagline, it's a promise. Go to canopy-wealth.com to get started on your financial future today. That's canopy-wealth.com.
Welcome back to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealership.
Jim, Matt, and Molly continues live from the Everlight Solar Studio. We are presented by Coors Light. I have continued to upset the natives here, but I did confirm with Riley Yauk, producer of the Jump Around, our Badger dedicated show on YouTube every Thursday at 12:30. He's a diehard Brewers fan, that he does agree with my take that Packer fans got over Aaron Rodgers leaving the Packers quicker than Brewer fans have gotten over Craig Counsell leaving the Milwaukee Brewers. We can actually probably talk to our next guest about that as well. He's most known for his Bears chat there. It's the Chicago Bears podcast host, Pat the Designer. And Pat, this is part of a new series we're going to be rolling out here where we want to talk to hosts and people who are capable of being really fun and entertaining on the air, but also have that fan perspective. So we kind of want to lean on you for the Chicago Bears. We did hear that one of your regular guests, Shay Norling, is a Lions fan, so we might lean on him for some Lions insight. But we wanted kind of more of a fan perspective on the team to the south that I root for, and Molly does not. So, Pat, thanks, and welcome to the show.
Thank you guys for having me on. I am having a lot of face on the camera compared to you two, so I need to scoot back a little bit. There's a lot.
I'll fix that for you, Pat. At least you have good lighting. Our
very
lighting here
zoomed
is
in right now.
Yeah, we're washed out over here. You look like you're having a nice. I heard the weather's pretty nasty down there. You look like you have a nice candlelit podcast going on.
There we go. That's even the head's out a little bit right there. I like that. I like what we're doing there.
Pat, before we get into the talk about it, I did kind of reference that you have that fan perspective. Give us your background on how you got to be the host of the Chicago Bears podcast.
My background is probably like no one's in the world. I just started my own show because I grew up listening to David Kaplan and Carmen and Sylvia and all that, and I said, I can do this. So I truly just started my own show, The Windy City Breeze. Did that for years, grew that to about 30,000 subscribers. And my daytime job, my full-time job I was an electrician. So while I was out there, turning wrenches, I would listen to ESPN 1000 every day, and I'd sit there and argue back and forth with guys. And I said, might as well just do it on a camera. Started doing it on a camera. People seemed to take a liking to me. Reached out to Danny Zetterman, and I wanted to help with social media and kind of, start everything up. I didn't know anything about ESPN Chicago acquiring the Bears. And then, all of a sudden, Danny's like, I need a host for this podcast, and I like you because you have good glasses.
Well, and I'm intrigued. I should have known this. I don't know. Do you still do electrical work? I just spent an ungodly amount of money on an electrician up here in Wisconsin. I could have known someone that knows what they're doing.
Listen, I still know how to do electrical work. I can tell you what not to do. Right. I try not to do it because it is very hard work, and it's much more fun talking about the Bears.
Perfect.
Is it fun to talk about the Bears, though? I mean, I mean, years past, it probably hasn't been. Now, looking ahead at this season, you've got to be excited, right? You got Ben Johnson coming in. Caleb Williams looks like he might be legit, which I don't want to say, but he looked good in the preseason game. Yep. They blew the doors off the Buffalo Bills yesterday. I mean, what are you most looking forward to with this season? And do you actually have faith that Caleb Williams is going to turn out to be somebody?
Here's the thing that I'm most excited about. The thing I'm most looking forward to is honestly seeing Ben Johnson actually be the bill of goods that we've been sold. How many times as Bears fans have we been told, oh, Matt Eberflus is going to overperform, or hey, you finally got it right with Matt Nagy, and then that was fool's gold that year. And you look the next season, we hear the stories about, he didn't want to help Mitch to become a better quarterback. Although looking at Mitch last night, Matt probably was right in all of that. But, I mean, like, there's all of these moments where you look at the history of the Bears coaching staff and you go, we thought we had something here, but this is fool's gold. This isn't real. Ben Johnson feels legit. Everything that we were sold on about Ben Johnson, how he was going to be in practices, how he was going to improve this team and try to create a better environment that this team hasn't had since Mike Ditka has been in the building, if we're being honest. Somebody who's bringing – kind of that animosity and that, hey, it's not when you get it right, it's you're going to get it right. Like, there isn't an option, or we're going to replace you with somebody that can get it right. Seeing that in the building has changed the entire outlook of this franchise for me, because I truly do believe and I hope that Caleb Williams is the right guy for the job. But if he's not, I truly feel like Ben Johnson will find the right guy for the job and will be able to develop that guy, because it's not just seeing the quarterback position develop, it's how the entire team is developing and how we've seen that build up throughout this training camp, throughout preseason. It truly is a different feel here in Chicago.
And obviously, I'm up here in Wisconsin and listening to your podcast and following along the best I can. You've been at camp a lot, and there's been a lot of the phrasing of like, that what Caleb been trying to drink through a fire hose with what Ben Johnson's throwing, and then they're trying to pull it back and try to see what he can handle. And yesterday kind of proved some of that. But for me, the expectations for Caleb are a little bit, I mean, you can talk about Josh Allen or Jared Goff, people who have jumped. But honestly, even you look at Jordan Love's first year as a starter, it was up and down. And I even heard Matt Schneider from The Athletic talk about how for a hot minute that year, the Packers could have been in the mix to draft Caleb or some other quarterback high, and there was chat about it for Jordan Love because he looked a little bit completely cooked in the middle of that season, that now everyone, he had that late 8-game stretch. So for me, if Caleb can have an up-and-down season as long as it finishes strong, that's going to give me a lot of hope going forward. It does not have to be smooth sailing for this season to be a success for me and for Caleb Williams and the Bears. What about for you?
Listen, I think that we look at the development of the quarterback. We look at the development of this offense, and we have to look at it for the schedule it is right now. If this was last season, I'd be telling you Ben Johnson probably needs to win 11 to 12 games because you've got the AFC South on your schedule. It's not last season. You've got dogs every single week on your schedule. This is one of the tougher schedules in football, and it's why I look at, my expectation for Ben Johnson is continue to develop Caleb, continue to make him look good. But if you finish this thing out with a 9-8 season and the offense looks like it's moving in the right direction and the defense looks, as we've seen it look throughout most of the training camp, prepared and ready for every single week, that means you're doing things right. There's going to be weeks where you're just up against a juggernaut of a team. The Bears have a back-to-back versus the Baltimore Ravens and the Cincinnati Bengals. And I know we sit here and go, oh, well, Cincinnati, they're terrible. But they've got probably the best quarterback in football who's really good at destroying defenses and putting up 50 points. Now, if you put up 51, you may have a chance to beat them. Yep. But I haven't seen an offense put up 51 just yet here in Chicago. So once we see that, then I'll feel a little bit better. My expectation is just continued development of the quarterback. And I think that's kind of how Ben Johnson is truly going about this is, we're going to focus on what we can do, what we can control, how we can continue to get better every day. And the results from that are going to happen, whether that's wins or losses, hopefully more wins than losses. But the results from that are just going to be, I talked with Al Harris last week, and he said, talking about playing the system, he was like, our goal is not to play the man, it's to play the system the right way. So it doesn't matter who's standing across from you. If you follow the principles of what the system are, you'll have success. And I truly think that's how Ben Johnson's going about this. And it's why I feel like there's going to be some really good moments here from Caleb Williams this season.
We've talked about it a lot on our show, just how the NFC North specifically could be so vastly different, right? Like, we think that the Packers could potentially be 1 or 2, but they could also be number 4. Like, there's so many different ways that this division could change. And I'm just curious, like, what is your perspective of the Green Bay Packers and Jordan Love? Because we obviously all have ours, being here in Wisconsin, being around Packers fans, but like, from a Chicago perspective, and I know you don't represent the entire city of Chicago, but I just have to know, like, what do you guys actually think about the Packers and Jordan Love? Does he scare you?
There's always the I don't want to say big brother complex because I feel like that's giving you too much credit, but there's always that feeling of like the Packers may do it again. Right? Mm-hmm. Until we start to fight back a little bit more in the rivalry, that's always going to be there. But for me, as a Bears fan, Jordan Love is everything I hoped that he was going to be for the Green Bay Packers. Just good enough that you can't get rid of him, but maybe not good enough to get you over the hump. And listen, I think that there are small tweaks that Jordan Love can make in his game to become an actually elite quarterback in the NFL. I can't sit here and look at how he's played and go, oh, this dude's going to fall off of a cliff and it's all going to be over, right? Like, we did that with Kirk Cousins probably for 5 years in Minnesota, and he's found a way to go for 4,500 yards and 30-plus touchdowns every season. I can't sit here and tell you that Jordan Love will just be this terrible quarterback. But when I look at Jordan Love, I do see a guy that reminds me a lot of Kirk Cousins in the sense of, you're very talented, but you have these moments that seem to continue to pop up throughout your career where you're not good enough in the big moment. You're not good enough to get the job done. And as a Bears fan, for me, that's beautiful because I'm hoping that we continue to see what we saw in the last game of that season where, now he didn't finish that game, but where yet again, the Packers didn't have enough to get the job done versus the Bears in that final game. And that, to me, is exciting. And I think here's the thing for a lot of Bears fans. While it is fun to just stomp all over your rival, that would be great to bring back that 90s or 80s feeling, right? There is something to what happened in the early 2000s that I think we really enjoyed, both sides of it, where I can throw a punch, you can throw a punch, and we can have an actual rivalry. Mm-hmm. That makes the rivalry more fun.
I'm so glad that you said that because last year, my biggest thing about the Bears were I actually wanted Caleb Williams to be good because I'm like, this would be so fun if there was actually a rivalry. But now moving into this year, because I have to deal with Jim every single day, I'm like, I hope he sucks. So I'm somewhere in the middle, I guess. I'm like, I want Caleb Williams.
You want him to be Jordan Love, what he just described as Jordan Love.
You kind of described it as the perfect way, but also maybe just a little bit worse. So then Jordan Love still looks better.
Actually, Pat, the love and the narrative around Jordan Love, and I'm with you on it. I think he's kind of going to be a perennial tier 2 guy if you all go off the athletic Mike Sando sort of look there. That you can win with them, but he's not going to win because of them. And Jared Goff has gotten to a Super Bowl and gotten to an NFC Championship game, but he's not the guy that's going to carry you over the top. I think that's where Love will live. But he's in a Packers uniform, and I feel like on a national scale and a local scale, everyone just says it just kind of gets a sheen on him of like, well, he's going to take that next step to be elite because he's a good quarterback in a Packers uniform. Meanwhile, Caleb had a record-setting rookie season for a quarterback in general for Chicago, let alone a rookie one, was good by normal standards of a rookie. He wasn't Jaden Daniels, but like all of a sudden, he's in a Bears uniform, and you got Drake May in a Patriots uniform. Like, Drake's going to be great. You got Bo Nix in a Denver uniform where you saw Peyton play. He's going to be great. Caleb in a Bears uniform, he's going to be terrible. And I think some of it's just the idea of a quarterback in a Bears uniform. People just unconsciously go with, that's going to be the worst possible outcome for that guy, despite the guy that everyone wanted, and Ben Johnson is now coaching him, who turned Jared Goff from a tier 3 guy into a tier 2 guy. And I think at a bare minimum, Caleb can climb into that tier 2.
Yeah, 100%. Listen, I think the thing with how the perception of the Chicago Bears organization is, for the history of it, it's 100% true. They haven't been able to develop the quarterback. It has been where certain wide receivers have gone to die, if you want to say that. The offense has not been the focal point of this team. But what I would say to you is that this is not the same Bears organization. What Kevin Warren and Ryan Poles have put together here, this is not going out there and going to get the bottom of the barrel guy to try and make it work and try and get him to be this even keel talent with what's in the rest of the division. No, you went out and you got the best offensive play caller that was available to be your head coach. On top of that, you went and got the best defensive play caller that was on your market, who also was a head coach, to be your DC. Oh, you also went and got the best running backs coach. You went and got one of the best DB coaches available, who was also got some assistant head coaching experience. You brought in one of the best. Like, I can keep going on, and it trickles all the way down to the team. And that's not the Chicago Bears that we have seen. So I'm not expecting the same result from the Chicago Bears that we have seen, right? The last time we saw the Chicago Bears invest in a coaching staff this much and invest in their team this much, let's be honest, it truly was when Mike Ditka and Buddy Ryan were on the coaching staff. We didn't see this with Lovey. Yeah, Lovey got some investment, but we sat there and swapped out offensive coordinators every single year. We didn't see this with Trestman. We didn't see this with Nagy. We went after kind of the safe guys and all of that. Now we're not seeing the Bears do that anymore, and I think it's a very different organization than what we've seen in our history.
So I hear all your positivity, but I got to know, what is the most concerning thing for this upcoming season for you?
Left tackle. Left tackle is going to continue to be a concern for this team probably all season. Now, what I saw from Braxton Jones yesterday was a little bit encouraging, although it's versus the twos, right? So, are you going to Braxton Jones is not going to get that leeway. The first 4 weeks of the season, you got if Micah Parsons signs, you got Micah Parsons on the docket. You've got Aiden Hutchinson on the docket. Like, that's going to be the spot where you have to watch this team the most. Yesterday, going into yesterday, I would have said pre-snap penalties. First couple of drives, I thought the offense looked pretty comfortable. So I guess I'll put that on the back burner. Again, it is preseason. That could pop up in the regular season, but they looked pretty good in that game when Caleb Williams was out there and that first team offense was out there. They looked comfortable, and I think it truly was, like you said at the beginning, that he's been drinking out of a fire hose, and the entire team has been drinking out of a fire hose, and now you swapped it down to a garden hose like it was the 90s again. I don't want to go inside because mom's going to make me sit on the couch and I can't go back out, and I'm going to just drink out of the garden hose. Do kids still do that? Is that okay anymore, or they got regulations against that now?
It probably depends on the Ryan. You're the up north.
You're the resident child.
I would not do that in Madison. I will say that.
Okay, yeah,
a little bit of hard water out here.
Yeah, I think it depends on where you're at. I definitely did. Well, because here's the thing. I'm 45. I grew up drinking out of the garden hose. You are 25.
I'm 26. When I was a kid, I was doing it too, but I was much more naive as a kid, and I wasn't telling my parents.
I'm 28, and yes, I drank out of a garden hose. When was the last time I did that? It's been a while.
Would you let your kids though?
Probably.
Yeah, I would too.
We have good water by us.
It builds character. It builds character.
Exactly.
It does.
Build up your immune system.
Yeah, definitely that too. Just hopefully there's no lead. Like that's
drinking out of that tire that never thought about that. It's just hot rubber in the sun all day. That water was so delicious.
Well, honestly, that makes me think of my dog in the backyard. You put a water bowl out for her. She's going to drink out of the nasty foot pool, like the kids put their feet in the water before they go in the pool. That's what the dog will drink out of.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like you usually carry like grass or whatever into like the big pool. Like you put your feet in a small little
very
tub.
sanitary.
Well, my wife, you know how hard it is to keep a big pool full, not to turn green.
That's
so
fair.
like if you don't bring the grass in, it's much easier. My wife runs in daycare, so it's more of like, hey,
I'm just trying to get to the point where I'm like you, where I have a pool. Like
same.
Right.
All I have is the foot pool, and it's the dollar store pool for the kids.
Yeah.
My kids have a blow-up pool, so
dog's got a pool. I got a pool. Like we're just pooled out there at the Rutledge household. Yeah. 17 years into Good Karma Pat, you'll get there. So
I love it. Give me some time.
Before we let you go, we want some predictions out of you, and hopefully you're willing to pop back on a few times throughout the year to kind of talk about 100%. Where these teams are at, because I think it'll be fun. Again, we're going to have you on. Hopefully we'll get a chance to talk to Shay, and then we're going to have Chris Plies, who's part of Team Schuster, Matt Hamilton, our co-host here, his teammate with Team Schuster, and Curlin's a diehard Vikings fan. So we're going to have 3 different people who are going to be entertaining, talking about the teams in the North, but doing it in a non-traditional way. But we're going to put a couple things to you, because I'm going to do this with Matt and Molly as well. One, it doesn't have to be an exact stat line, but what are some benchmarks that you're looking for Caleb that you think that he can hit this year that you'll call it a successful season?
Honestly, it's the one stat line of the 70%. I think 70% gets you everything else. It's very difficult to be a 70% passing quarterback and not get 4,000 yards and not get 30 touchdowns. And not have low interception totals. So I think that's where it starts for me. But I love for Caleb to be the one to finally break all, just so we can stop talking about it. Yes. I'll be honest with you. The quarterback that won the Super Bowl last year had 2,900 passing yards. I don't care about where your yards are. Find ways to win championships and build teams that win championships. But if you're completing 70% of your passes, and we see how Ben Johnson is aggressive, he likes explosive plays, that means you're going to be throwing the football. I would think that, listen, if I'm living around a 4,100-yard season, a 30-touchdown season, and I'm okay with the interceptions being up, because it means Caleb's taking chances that he didn't take last year. If you're living around 12 to 14 interceptions on that means that Caleb Williams is being more aggressive and is probably fitting that Ben Johnson system a little bit more.
I like all those. I think, and I agree with all of them. For me, it's more of hey, just be more efficient. You look at those advanced analytics, and it's all right, Caleb, the offense was so bad at times there, so it's take less sacks would be part of that as well. But I'm right there in those benchmarks. If he gets above, for me to go from 63 basically to 70 is a big jump. Get above 67, 68, because that's my big knock on Jordan Love, is that he doesn't complete passes, and he's not Josh Allen. So you got to either get better completion percentage and get more accurate, or you're never going to get better. What about for the division? How do you think it stacks out? Who wins the division, second, third, fourth, all that?
Listen, I know there's a lot that is changing there. I'm still leaving Detroit up top, though. Until you prove you're not the king, you're the king in my book. I truly do think that the Chicago Bears might be right there for second. I think here's the thing, right? Second being everybody's kind of going to be the same. I think the Bears get a couple of more wins this season. I think that everybody else takes a little bit of a step back just because you don't have the AFC South. How do you get to 15 wins? You beat the AFC South 4 times. I think Detroit's probably an 11-win team. I think the Bears, Packers, and Vikings kind of live around that 9 to 10 win scenario. I guess right now in my king scenario, right, I want to say Bears second, but I'll say Minnesota second. I'll say Bears are right there with them, but maybe they're third right now, and then fourth. I know that's not going to be popular.
Homer! Oh my god! I know it's not going to be
popular.
Oh my god!
But Green Bay got to be at the bottom. But I will say this too, right? I do think we run back what we had last season, where you've got 3 teams in the playoffs.
It's a big brother mentality or little brother mentality just showing through on you.
I mean, listen, there's a lot that you guys don't have receivers that catch all the time.
I don't even know who our receivers are now. I feel like when I was
what I mean? Listen, and my favorite thing from the Packers this year, because I get Packers fans in my chat all the time, and they want to, oh, look, you guys are terrible. You always be little brother. And the big thing was, oh, your DBs aren't as good as you think they are. And then you cut your best DB and turned a wide receiver into one. Right. I laughed so hard.
Yeah, Pat, honestly, that's the one thing when I look at the Packers and the receivers, maybe Matthew Golden pops off, but my sneaky take is Luther Burden. I don't know statistically he'll be better than Matthew Golden because he might not get the reps. I think he's better than Matthew Golden. But when you look at the Packers, they don't have a pass rush and they don't have a secondary outside of McKinney. And to me, that could be a fatal flaw for this team. And I think it's being underrepresented. Rashawn Gary's never been a double-digit sack guy. Lucas Van Ness is terrible. And you have to get pressure with blitzes. And then you took a major downgrade. Keyshawn Nixon's not a cornerback 1. Nate Hobbs is not a cornerback 2 or 1. You have McKinney, but the rest is pretty weak out there.
Molly, all I'm going to ask you is anything that we just said wrong?
No, you're not wrong. And yes, Bo Melton being converted from a wide receiver to a defensive back is awful.
And
it
he's
is
going to
horrible.
make the team and be on the death chart.
Yes,
like,
it is
that's
horrible.
Worse.
It is bad. It is not good. But also, Jair Alexander, who even knows, the last time that I saw was that he was having like different procedures done in Baltimore. So like,
But you could have signed someone else.
Yes, they could have done more. But I am saying, I actually Googled Micah Parsons after you mentioned his name, and there's different reports about him potentially.
Come on, fool you 10,000 times for the Bears history.
Hold out hope.
The Bears history about not having a quarterback is the same history of the Packers never making that move to get that guy.
That is accurate. But I will hold out hope because I love Micah Parsons.
All right, hope is not a strategy. Pat, awesome stuff. We really appreciated the Chicago Bears podcast where you can find Pat.
Thank you for having me on.
All right, that's Pat the designer. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light.
You're listening to Jim, Matt, and Molly.
I think we asked Jim, would you potentially have your wife on Jim, Matt, and Molly? That's what we wanted to ask you.
If she wanted to, I don't care. I mean, for an interview, she's looking at me right now. I mean, I'm sure we could be open to an interview sometime.
We could bring her on now.
Taylor Swift joining she rolled her eyes at me like my 12-year-old does, so I don't know.
Presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Madison on YouTube.
Hey, it's Molly Brown from Jim, Matt, and Molly. I've been drinking ZOA Energy for a while now, and I absolutely love it. ZOA is my go-to beverage when I need a boost without the crash that comes with other energy drinks. It's packed with natural ingredients like vitamin B and C, electrolytes, and has zero sugar. It fuels my workouts and busy days. I recently had twins, and I have a toddler, so I need all of the energy I can get. Head over to ZOAEnergy.com to find the location nearest to you to pick up some ZOA for yourself. ZOA Energy for balance and drive.
Clinky Cleaners has been in business for over 65 years, and they've had document imaging technology from James Imaging Systems for right around 30 years. CFO Sean Young explains why.
Probably the best thing about James Imaging that's worked for us is they're reliable, they're dependent, they always make things easy for us.
James Imaging Systems, AI-driven workflow automation, security enhancements, digital transformation, and local people who make doing business easy.
They're quick to come whenever we need them, point out lots of simple things for us to try to save us some money and save us time and eliminate headaches.
So Sean, the bottom line of having business technology from James Imaging Systems?
I just appreciate the work that James Imaging has done for us. They're always looking out for our best interests.
James Imaging Systems. Make it easy, save money, eliminate headaches. Call 608-221-3457 or visit jamesimaging.com. James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
ESPN Madison and Zimbrick Honda are celebrating the area's best high school sports stories with the Game Changers of the Month. Follow ESPN Madison on social media to see the teams recognized for making a positive impact in the community. It's the Game Changers of the Month, presented by Zimbrick Honda.
From the biggest stars to the greatest moments, Behind the Bucks is Bucks history like you've never heard it before. It's all on Behind the Bucks on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, the new ESPN Wisconsin app, and wherever you get podcasts.
This is Derek Engler. You're listening to a Good Karma Brands radio station, 100.5 ESPN WTLX Monona, Madison.
Sports Center updates on 100.5 ESPN are brought to you by Metro Kia of Madison. Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or visit metrokiaofmadison.com.
Everybody's ego takes a shot on this show.
You gotta keep your chill with Jim, Matt, and Molly.
I am savage.
So you're not special.
Jim, if we want to play this game, we can play this game.
And I'm just like, oh my God, this guy's going to swing on Jim. He's a complicated fellow. Oh.
People like me.
I don't think so.
This is Jim, Matt, and Molly on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Madison on YouTube.
We're learning a lot about each other.
I don't even know what Caleb Durbin looks like.
1-1.
Durbin, a high fly to left. It is way back and gone. Durbin almost out onto Waveland.
So the nickname doesn't really fit. You want to hear it? The Durbinator.
Nice.
According to the Milwaukee Brewers.
Caleb Durbin exits stage left. That was a bomb.
And
the Durbinator!
And the Let's Go Brewers chants raining down at Wrigley Field.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio in downtown Madison. Alongside Matt Hamilton and Molly Brown, here's Jim Rutledge.
It is hour number 3. It's the third open I've done for Jim, Matt, and Molly. We are presented by Coors Light. At the mountains are blue. You know what to do.
And that's crush a Coors Light.
I'm not saying Brewers baseball is coming up next.
Brewers baseball is still currently slated to come up pregame at the very least.
I'll say the broadcast is coming up around 6:30. We got to get to throwing stones, so we're a little behind on the clock here. So we're just going to reset some of our Siding Unlimited poll questions. You can chime in on them. I guess I'll monitor the talk and text line for a little bit. Carbos talk and text line. List is more 844-770-3776. List is more. Look, our second one has blown up. Would the Brewers still be leading the NL Central if Craig Counsell was still their manager? 75% of you are so in your feels you can't acknowledge that, and you say no. Right? That's insane, right?
That is a little insane.
Even Ryan said it. Yeah.
9 games ahead, I think they'd be winning with a lot of managers.
Yeah, and then the other one we asked, what's the biggest reason for the Brewers' success this season? Pat Murphy, the players, Matt Arnold, David Stearns. 48% of you say the players, 40% of you say Pat Murphy, 8% of you say Matt Arnold. I think that should be about 25% Pat Murphy, and you can split up players and Matt Arnold however you'd like. And the other big takeaway from today is we all agree that Packer fans got over Aaron Rodgers leaving the Green Bay Packers faster than Brewer fans got over Craig Counsell leaving the Milwaukee Brewers?
Correct.
It's Kaiser Sosa. You won't see me.
Packers fans were already over Aaron Rodgers before he even left.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a fact.
Yeah, and especially because of how things went with the Jets, it made it a lot easier.
It definitely did. A lot of other mitigating factors there, but we're going to throw some stones on the other side. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light.
You're listening to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Madison on YouTube.
When you're in the right place at the right time, things get done. The important things, like knowing what you need and how it all works. Talking truck. Fixing it right the first time. At Zimbrick Chevrolet, our people get it done right and now. That's how you know you're in the right place at the right time. And you'll never overpay at Zimbrick Chevrolet.
Listen to Madison Money Guy every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. on 100.5 ESPN and ESPNWisconsin.com.
I like to refer to inflation as the silent killer. It's an invisible risk. It's just the idea that things get more expensive over time. You're going to need milk and eggs when you're in your early 60s and when you're in your early 80s. You're going to get a loaf of bread, and it's going to be more expensive 20 years from now.
Christian Finfrock is the Madison Money Guy. Call him today at 208-1800.
We shopped at Chalmers because my husband wanted to get me a larger diamond in my engagement ring.
The folks at Chalmers said, well, we could just make it like this and we could do these things. Really just basically decided that there wasn't any place else we wanted to shop.
And not only did they create this new engagement ring for me with this gorgeous center stone, they also rehabbed this other ring, and I am beyond pleased.
Her favorite thing to do now is to walk around and show her hands and have people comment on it.
Looking to transform your home with stylish furniture and home accessories without breaking the bank? At your local IKEA in Oak Creek, they believe everyone deserves a beautiful and affordable living experience that enhances your everyday life. From comfortable and fashionable sofas and sectionals, to kitchens full of inspiration, to bedrooms designed to help you find your best sleep and relaxation, IKEA's home furnishing combines form and function to fit any lifestyle and budget. Visit IKEA Oak Creek today or explore their collection online at ikea.com/US.
This update is sponsored by UW Credit Union. For every stage of life, UW Credit Union is here for every you. Following Brewers Sunday home games, all kids ages 14 and under can come down to the field and run the bases at American Family Field, courtesy of Aurora Healthcare. The post-game Kids Run the Bases line begins along the first base line on the field level. Join UW Credit Union at uwcu.org. Insured by NCUA.
James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner. Clinky Cleaner CFO Sean Young.
The local part is what's key for us. Madison is a local community, and that's what I look at with James Imaging. When I talk to our account rep, he's local.
James Imaging Systems, AI-driven workflow automation, security enhancements, digital transformation, and great people.
I'd say the people at James Imaging are the top of the line for us. They know us, we know them. They take the time to listen to us when we have questions. They make it easy.
And Sean Clinky Cleaners makes it easy for their customers too.
Yes, at Clinky's, we need to be the expert in the field. We want to make life easier for them, and that's what James Imaging does for us.
Sean, any advice for others?
I would say give James Imaging a call. They've been great to us.
James Imaging Systems. Call 608-221-3457 or visit jamesimaging.com. James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
Welcome back to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN. Also brought to you by J&K Security Solutions.
The Brewers win 7-0 over the Chicago Cubs. Game 2 will be coming up. We're going to talk about the Brewers versus Cubs the next 4 games in a little bit, but it is a Monday. It is time to throw some stones on Jim, Matt, and Molly. We are presented by Coors Light. Jim Rutledge and Molly Brown with you in the Everlight Solar Studio. Primetime Orshon behind the glass. And let's throw those stones.
1, 2, 3,
Some takes are cooler than others.
You know this kid is as cool as the other side of the pillow.
Some opinions are just cooler than the rest.
That was cooler than being cool. Ice cold.
And if you keep it chill, then it's a cold take.
Chill out. I'm chill. I'm chill as a cucumber, man. I'm always the coldest.
This is Throwing Stones, presented by Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's chillest Kia dealership.
And Ryan, we have a fun stone around baseball realignment. You have an audio clip here for us from Rob Manfred.
Yeah, so this is MLB Commissioner, much beloved MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred on the broadcast of last night's ESPN coverage of the Little League World Series Classic game. It was the Mariners-Mets playing in Williamsport, for which, by the way, one of my favorite games every year, too. Like, I think they should You don't think it's awesome that they play at the Little League World Series?
I don't care about the Little League World Series.
Did you not? So
I barely care about the real World Series.
Cal Raleigh, the big dumper, the guy who's the catcher for the Mariners, he played in the Little League World Series, and he actually had his entire chest protector was photos of his team and his teammates from that series.
And that's cool, but I'm with Molly on it that I don't actually care when it happens. I like the retroactive, hey, I played in the Little League World Series, but I don't care when it happens.
This doesn't make you want to tune in anymore?
You know what?
I don't like college basketball because it looks too... But I mean, I don't like college basketball because it looks too far away from professional. You think I'm watching Little League Baseball?
Well, no, but that's a question. That is a question that I actually have. Not to deter us too much on this throwing stones, but how many players that played in the Little League World Series are now in the MLB? Like, what is... Like, if you play in the World Series as a kid... Does that translate to being a really good baseball player when you're an adult? That's what I want to know.
Maybe like a slight percentage, but nothing like significant, I'd imagine. Okay. I know there's a lot of, Cal Raleigh for one. Oh, God, I don't know the rest off the top of my head, but there's every team, I would say, in the MLB probably has one guy who played in the Little League World Series. I would bet. Somewhere around there. It's a decent smattering of players, but all right, either here nor there. I think that the game that they play at the Little League World Series is really cool. It reminds me a lot of the Field of Dreams, but we had to listen to Rob Manfred talk last night about possible expansion in the MLB and the idea of possible realignment. Guys, let's go ahead and listen.
How about a window into the future? Expansion, realignment, expanded playoffs. Can you see that down the road?
I can. I think the first two topics are related in my mind. I think if we expand, it provides us with an opportunity to geographically realign. I think we could save a lot of wear and tear on our players in terms of travel, and I think our postseason format would be even more appealing for entities like ESPN, because you'd be playing up out of the East, out of the West, and that 10 o'clock time slot where we sometimes get Boston, Anaheim, would be two West Coast teams, and that 10 o'clock slot that's a problem for us sometimes becomes a real opportunity for our West Coast audience.
So, guys, outside of the logistics and the reasons for the timing and the nature of geographic realignment, would you like the idea of the NL Central no longer existing? And based off, I think it was Jim Bowden from The Athletic sent out a graphic that Jim sent to us earlier today, where it showed that the Brewers, Cubs, White Sox, and Minnesota Twins would be in the Western Conference's Midwest Division. So essentially like what the NFC North is, but for baseball.
See, to me as a baseball onlooker, that's what I'll call myself.
Onlooker.
Yes, an outsider, a baseball outsider. I don't know what you want me to call you.
It's a good term.
This to me seems really cool because it's like you've got two Chicago teams, you got the team in Wisconsin, and then you got the Minnesota team. So in my mind, I'm like, this is amazing. But then Jim, you sent us the tweet, and I believe that the guy said like, this makes me sick to my stomach or something like that. I feel like in the tweet, why would this not be fun? That's what I'm having a hard time understanding, because you have the biggest rivalry with the states that are nearest to you in most sports.
I don't share the sentiment of Setup Man Brian was the Twitter account that said that.
Brian. It's my burner.
Ryan's wingman.
Right. One, I think expansion is stupid. Like baseball, it's not holding on by a thread, but it's very regional. We talked about it earlier in the show. Like I like the Cubs, and then that's it. Like when the Cubs are out of the playoffs, or if they don't make the playoffs, like I'm done.
You're done.
I'm not. I mean, obviously, if the Brewers make a run, I'll watch it for work purposes. But otherwise, like I have not watched the playoffs or the World Series since the Cubs won the World Series. That's the last World Series I watched is when the Cubs won the World Series.
When was that? 2018?
2016.
And unless the Brewers go this year, I'm not watching it this year. The Cubs aren't going. So, like, I think expansion overestimates the value of baseball.
Would you
fans.
watch the White Sox if they won?
I don't root against the White Sox.
Especially for the purpose of this, if they were in the division going
So,
forward.
like, to the division side of things here, one, if you're a Cubs fan, you like this because the White Sox are cheap, the Brewers are cheap, and the Twins are cheap. Realistically. I mean, the Brewers are a great run organization, but none of those teams can spend the way the Cubs can spend. So, if they can get back to what they had.
Sure chose to spend at this year's deadline, right?
What's that?
The Cubs?
Right. I mean, that's a different story, but Theo, if they can run it how they ran it with Theo, and maybe they never will, they can go back to dominating it because they had money and a well-run system and a guy who was a baseball visionary. That might never happen again. Jed Hoyer is not Theo. But this also for Brewers fans should feel very familiar. You'd have a true rival again in the Twins and the White Sox. That was your rival for all of time for the Milwaukee Brewers until 1998 when they switched divisions to go to the National League. And then you glom onto the Cubs, and I said this earlier, White Sox fans hate White Sox fans hate the Cubs more than Brewers fans do. And Cubs fans hate the St. Louis Cardinals more than they hate the Brewers. Now, this year, obviously, there's a direct competition for the division, and that's a natural rivalry in the idea that they're competing to win the division. But in other years, like, I can only speak for me, but I think in general, Cubs fans, I'm not going to be very upset that the Brewers make a big, long run. It's whatever. So, to me, this gives the Brewers some natural rivals that they used to have in the Twins and the White Sox.
See, that's funny because to me, I've never thought. I mean, I'm 26, so I've never thought of the Twins as even a remote rival for the Brewers. It's funny. You bring it up like the geographic purposes, like outside of the Vikings and the Gophers, I feel nothing for the state of Minnesota. Like I don't hate the Timberwolves. I don't hate the Twins.
Yeah.
I guess I don't think about the Minnesota Lynx because I'm not a soccer fan. Or no, Minnesota Lynx.
That's WNBA.
I was like, I was confused. I'm like, I guess I'm not a soccer fan either because like
that shows you how little I think about them.
Right,
so there you go. But that's the thing is like, I don't like, but professional sports wise, other than the Vikings, I don't really see myself as a rival with the state of Minnesota. Whereas Illinois and even in baseball for the Cardinals, like growing up, Brewers Cardinals was a heated rivalry, especially when they had Molina and Pujols. Like those teams hated each other.
But that was probably because the two were competing for playoff
They were
position.
both pretty good at the time. Yeah, that was like the Greinke, CC Sabathia, Prince Fielder, Ryan Braun were always going up against the Cardinals.
And that goes back to like my Packers-Vikings. Like there's a rivalry there, but it's mainly because they are more peers than the Bears have been. If the Bears crank back up, as evident in the Brewers fans' hatred of the Cubs, it would be 2-11 as far as that rivalry. The Bears just haven't held up their end of the bargain. The Cubs really haven't either, but they're at least a little bit closer. And the Craig Counsell thing added a lot of spice to it because Brewers fans can't get over Craig Counsell no matter how much they act like they have. So to me, I think this would be great in general for fans. You could honestly easily, if you're a diehard baseball fan, could set up like, hey, I'll go see the Brewers play the Twins, White Sox, and Cubs all on the road too.
Yeah, that's fair. Because there'd be a lot
People
more.
like to travel to stadiums and everything.
Yeah, and you'd play your rivals more than you would play the rest of the MLB. So, yeah, I guess it's easier to see games, especially with the White Sox and the Cubs. I think I'd prefer to go see it at the Guaranteed Rate Stadium. Rate Field, excuse me.
Okay.
Rate Field. I was there for the first time last month.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy to get to.
That's the White Sox Stadium?
That's White Sox Stadium. Like, it's not, like, grand and extravagant or anything, but food there's pretty cool.
It's funny, like, White Sox fans want to get rid of it. The food there is great, but, like, it's all, like, Jerry Reinsdorf, the owner's already trying to ask for more money.
Yeah, talk about cheap.
It was a cheaply built, or I should say built. There was not a lot of pizzazz into it. I think it came out around the same time as, like, Camden Yards and all that. Like, you compare it to the ones that came out, it's closer to County Stadium than it is to like Camden Yards or whatever. And I meant County Stadium, not AmFam Field. AmFam Field, again, vanilla, but vanilla with a roof. And so you guarantee the game.
Useful on days like today.
Right, exactly. You guarantee the game. The Brewers are a statewide team. They have to pull in from the whole state to be able to fill their stadium on a regular basis. So the roof makes a lot of sense. The White Sox, one doesn't have the utilitarian effects of like a roof like AmFam would, and it doesn't really have a lot of like nuance or it's not kitschy either.
How do you define kitschy? Can you use it in a sentence other than the one you just used it in?
Like Wrigley Field has the ivy.
I
call that kitschy.
It's got
look character.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty bland.
Some neat elements.
I really like the outfield at Guaranteed Rate. Like, it has a bunch of video boards, and it has kind of like an old school, like, Yankees sort of East Coast style to it.
And I think they just built, like
you said, they built it at the same time as those other stadiums.
But also they tried to build it. They went the wrong way. They went with, like, let's just build a classic stadium when everyone else, the Houston Astros got the flagpole and the hill, and then the Diamondbacks put in the pool or whatever. Like, there was all these other things, and the White Sox just had nothing. So it's honestly like
the pool thing is not that big of a thing at Chase Field.
But it's still like,
let me just say.
But it's still like when you're watching it, it's just a little different.
But it's like a swim up bar.
Like you said, it's a character.
I get it.
It's all the character. It's more than nothing.
It's at AmFam Field. You have the slide for Bernie the Brewer.
Yeah.
Like, or in Miami, Jim's old stomping ground, they have the giant dolphin Marlin.
And I never saw a game at that stadium. I saw their games when they played Dolphin Stadium.
That's a true monstrosity of a stadium.
Oh, so bad for the Dolphins and for the Marlins at that point. I would say this, like I've said this before, like the Brewers Stadium is like a really awesome minivan, like fully loaded minivan.
Hey, I have one of those.
That's what I mean. And so, like,
that is my Kia Carnival.
Right.
Shout out Metro Kia Madison.
Right, and like it's fantastic. But then like Wrigley Field is like, to stick with the Metro Ford side of things, then it's like no, I don't think they sell like vintage Mustangs, but it's like a vintage Mustang. Where it's got character. It's not going to be perfect. It might not have so it's going to have.
You know
flaws.
what it is? It's an El Camino.
Sorry,
that's not Metro Ford, obviously.
I know, but that's fine.
That makes more sense. That kind of fits the vibe.
True,
it's
I think
flawed,
it's nice,
but it's gorgeous.
Yeah, but it's better than. I mean, it's still like. There's a lot of flaws, but it's. Anyways, but the like county or I'm sorry, not Comiskey, Guaranteed Rate. Just think of like a generic entry level, station wagon. It's a station wagon.
Station wagon.
Yeah.
It was a stadium built in The Sims.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a station wagon. It's fine.
Whatever.
It's not a winning stadium. If you want to be a winner, go to Ho Chunk Gaming Madison. That's where winners go. Millions of dollars are won every single weekend at Ho Chunk Gaming Madison. That's where you should be heading this weekend to go win some money. Speaking of winners, though, 4 games left, Molly. What?
This is the alternate outro music.
Okay, Molly. I don't know what happened when we were gone, but there's 4 games left. Brewers Cubs. What do you got?
4. There's 5. Oh, 4. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I had to think about it. Brewers go 3-2 in this series, so they got to win 2 more.
I agree with you. I might even go 4-1 Brewers in this series, but I'll go with 3-2. That actually
closer
be a win
to 100 wins, baby.
They only have to go 500, I believe. So you are
less than that. They got to go 22-17. Now
21-17.
Now 21. Yeah.
So they are they're on a roll. So we'll kind of continue to see how that goes as the series goes along. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light. Do you want to buy something online, or do you want to meet with someone local? A local doctor with a family-owned business that cares about you. That's right. You want to meet with Nestor Rodriguez and Ashley Rodriguez at Carbon World Health. You have questions about cryotherapy, red light therapy, hormone replacement treatments, GLP-1s, or you just want to have a great workout. Carbon World Health is there for you. They have a new location in Sun Prairie, and they have their original location in Madison. So when it comes to your health, there's nowhere better to go than Carbon World Health in Madison and now in Sun Prairie.
She was sweet until she met jalapenos. Introducing Pizza Hut's new Spicy Hawaiian Lovers Pizza, part of the $12.99 Hut Lovers line from Pizza Hut. Get one of their 4 large topping-packed pizzas. Meat lovers, pepperoni lovers, veggie lovers, and the new Spicy Hawaiian. Just $12.99 each for a limited time only. Head to one of their locations or order online on the Pizza Hut app before it's gone. Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut. Additional charge for extra toppings, pan, stuffed crust, and extra cheese.
Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side. When you see Diamond Jim, you can count on him to be on your side. Selection beyond compare with on-site repair, so you can wear your